We're bringing you in. All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis. Fresh on that Friday, man. First of all, E, how are you doing? It's just a regular day. We ain't got nobody special, right?
No, no tinfoil running around the guest chat. No, nothing special. No spookiness. No two games. I played through the medium in one day yesterday, so I played the whole thing in one sitting.
Okay.
Been enjoying some mix-ups, but honestly, still always, Destiny has that special place. Before I say too much, I got to give it back.
No doubt.
It's intro time.
Intro time,
Let's
brother.
do this.
Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 134.
134.
134, man. I'm happy. And it's a glorious Friday. We're back in front of the campfire for some more looter shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce the Lord, whose combination of pure positivity and consistency within the Destiny community is truly a sight to behold. Whether it be his informative how-to videos or his multi-platform raid stream help, all done with the most infectious smile in the game. Introducing the software developer / creator and host of the cbgray YouTube and Twitch channels, the Lord of Tinfoil Hats and Voss Boy Bars So Cold, even the real Eris Moore was bumping to that Beyond Light.
Wow, what an intro.
Woo! Live from VA and making his glorious return at the campfire of The Last Word. My man, Lord cbgray. How we doing, sir?
I'm speechless. I don't even know how to say nothing after that, man. Holy, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm real good. And I'm happy to be back, and it's feeling like home already. I'm happy to be here, y'all. I missed y'all a lot.
Missed you, man.
I missed y'all a lot.
We had a great show. It's always a pleasure to have you in here, man.
I don't even know how we can continue after that intro.
No, we just got to shut it down and say thank you guys for coming out, chat. It's been great. That is the episode. CBGray is amazing. Bow down to the CBGray and the intro from Cog.
That is insane.
No, I opened the Discord DM to you guys that said, and I was like, make a new one. You have one from 9 months ago. I was like, it's been a minute. So
it's been 9? That's how long?
I think that's what it said. So I was like, I have no idea how exact, but ballpark about 9 months, man. So thank you for coming back. I know we had a blast last time. Definitely looking forward to it, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm hyped. I'm excited too. And before we get into anything, especially after the way they just came in on me, just know that these two, 134 episodes, doing anything 134 times is absolutely insane. Like, seriously, like the amount of work that these two put in, like for this, and then what they do individually, because Mr. E is putting together crazy guides every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds, I see something. I don't know when he's sleeping or doing anything. And then this man, Mr. Lord, the podcast also they put together on the YouTube side of things.
Thank you.
If y'all haven't checked it out, I would get it in chat because that's my weekend thing. I'm in there lurking every time, I'm lurking and working. But,
I appreciate you, brother.
But
Thank you.
I can't even start it without telling y'all how dope these two are. So
thank you, brother.
Now we can get it to it, but I couldn't let it go any further. I couldn't let it go any further.
Love, man.
Means a lot, man. Hold on, I got to wipe the tears.
We made it, man. CV done blessed
I know,
us.
seriously, we have been blessed by the tinfoil smile god over here. So
exactly, no doubt, man. So what you been up to, man?
Seriously,
as far as gaming, just in general, you got a lot going on since last time.
So started a new project at work. We're building an application for the Air Force. So I'm a tech lead on this project. Now we're working a 12-month project. I know last time we talked, I don't think that was going on. So that started in October, right around when, right before Beyond Light dropped.
Right.
So we got that going on at work. And then outside of that, same old, still streaming on YouTube. We stream on Twitch. We get the videos out. We help out where we can. We hang out. We just laugh and run in circles and act a fool, and we just do what we do. But it's been good, man. It's been good. I'm alive, man. So I can't really
exactly.
complain.
Dude, this man over here streams on what's the order? Is it Twitch?
So orders. So after I finish, I try to get off work around like 7. Then I'll try to be streaming on YouTube by around 7:38, and then I'll do from about 8 to 11 on YouTube. Then we'll jump to Twitch until maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Man,
wow.
So sleep is just a sporadic thing that you get every so often.
I don't even know what that word means.
There is caffeine in there's blood in his caffeine stream, I think, at this point.
In the,
so.
in the ice water?
Ice water. Oh, it's just
I
he's got
drink.
ice running through his veins. That's what it is.
It
We figured it out.
is.
So.
Oh, my
The
gosh.
joys of youth, E. Remember those
yeah.
days, E? When we were young and we could do all that.
Man, I'm gonna be too old this year. So.
Oh, I'm almost
Facts.
3 years off 30. So, you know, we're climbing
man.
up.
Those are good
That's
years.
so cute. That's so cute. I'm a decade older than you, and he's got you by
People
another
would
half
never
of that.
guess it with
so.
E, though. I had never with E told me. I was like, nah. I was like, get out of here. Nah. It was, I still know if I believe it.
I mean, I got the receipts, aka driver's license, birth certificate, and everything
AKA
else. But
teach me your secret. That's all I'm saying. Just teach me the ways.
No doubt,
yeah,
no doubt.
just luck, I think, and then staying inside and playing video games so you don't see the sun. So,
Yeah,
Can relate.
yeah.
That definitely would affect it.
So how
No
has it
doubt.
been going forward? Like, how did you decide to go from doing both? Like, what made you say, like, hey, I'm doing this thing on YouTube, awesome channel, I want to try Twitch or I want to try streaming? And then how did you, like, also ask, like, your collection of followers and everybody be like, hey, can you guys go to a different website and watch me over here?
Well-
Because, like, it's working, but I'm kind of curious the secret to your sauce as well.
Well, transferring platforms in anything is definitely, it is hard to, I guess, be able to transfer over and kind of have the same kind of dynamic that you have on another platform. But what made me, I guess, decide to start? There's kind of two big reasons. I'd say the first was just wanting to continue to do more and to be able to help out more and to be able to kind of spread out the reach of what we do and to be able to kind of, I think, bridge the gap and to be able to, help on the side of things that we have with the YouTube side, but then try to also continue on with that kind of same note on the Twitch side as well. Because I felt like I really was happy with what we were doing on the YouTube side, but I knew there's still a lot going on the Twitch side as well. I just felt like we could continue to kind of spread our roots and try to, do our part more over there as well. So that was like one big reason. But then the other two was, so I've been with YouTube streaming since the beta. I remember when YouTube sent me the streams, like not YouTube since the beta, but YouTube streamed since the beta. So I can remember when they actually emailed me like talking about the beta and I tried it out then. But so I've been with YouTube for a while for streaming, and I've been happy to see the platform kind of evolve and see all the features that have come. But it still is a while to go, and there's some features that I definitely wanted to also be able to, I'd say, use when it came to streaming as well. One of the bigger things being rating. I really love seeing a lot of the other creators that we have in our community as well, and being able to all kind of work collectively together and kind of also provide an environment hopefully where people can feel empowered to start and kind of do whatever they want in life. But I didn't like that. Well, YouTube, I can never rate anybody, and I can never, we can never just extend never extend our community anywhere else without just typing a link in the chat,
Yeah.
Right.
So I really was always kind of intrigued by that, and I wanted to, be able to do that as well. So I thought that was really cool. How to get it to work?
Ask nicely.
Just thank everybody that is here sitting watching me now, and just in general that's ever supported me. I don't know. I'm grateful for it, and that people do stick around for both. I mean, I think it's asking a lot to be able to be like, all right, you're already watching here now. Download another app or go somewhere else where you might not, enjoy the app as much or like whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but in terms of what we do, though, I'll usually finish the stream and then we'll collectively just decide that all right, now we're headed to Twitch. And so we'll get the link out for the Twitch, and then I'll usually start streaming on Twitch like about within probably 30 seconds after I stop the YouTube one. So it's a very seamless transition. But I mean, to talk about why it works, it's all everybody that's a part of our community, because I'm surprised that it does. I'm just grateful. So I mean, it's it definitely couldn't with just me. So.
Salute to you,
Well,
salute to the team.
you might be the glue that's holding it together, but yeah, it's like I don't think any content creators, anybody without their community. And like everybody who shows up for the podcast, the streams, Iron Lord podcast, yours on both ends of the table, it's always the people in the chat that remind you that thank you. And it's like the stories that say, hey, thanks for being here. I had a rough day, wanted to come say hi. And it's like, you know what? Those rare moments when it's like, I may have 5 people in here, but somebody needed that like getaway for a second. It's like, if I'm in a point where I'm lucky enough to help some person that way, I can talk to 2 people all night if I'm helping one. It's it's those are the rare moments. And honestly, like, you are very, very humble, ultra humble. But like what you do, your positivity, your vibes in your stream, it's very easy to see why you have the following that you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, so I appreciate
absolutely,
that.
brother. Yeah, I mean, what you're doing is truly unique, and it's just cool. It's cool to see because, like you were saying, like, you know, but he was saying, like, to transition from one platform to another, usually people are coming with all the excuses in the world, or just at the end of the day, even if it's not excuses, just people are comfortable in their platform, like you said, or sometimes they just don't want to open up another app or whatever. So to get people that there, and also another audience to also follow is really unique and cool. And again, it's a testament to you, the team, and the content you're doing. There's a lot of positivity, and we need to see more of it. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, we got to celebrate you here. You know what I'm saying? Shout you out.
I appreciate it, man. That means a lot, especially hearing from y'all, because like I say, y'all are the GOAT. So I appreciate I appreciate the kind words. It means a lot. And yeah, I'm excited to keep that going too, man. It's been something that's been really cool, because one of the coolest things about it has really been meeting so many new faces too when going to different platforms, because it is a whole new, like, you know, group of people, and there's more people to meet, there's more people to, you know, help, and there's more ultimately friendships to make. You know, so that's been the coolest thing. I mean, I started doing the Twitch like streams on top of the YouTube ones. It'll be a year sometime in February. So that's when I got going with Twitch. So it's been a really cool experience. Like, I'm still learning on, like, day by day with it, but it's been really cool.
Yeah,
man, shout out to you.
I was just gonna say, it's like the more you try and do, the more you realize you don't know. So I feel like it's always an uphill battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a question before we got to talk about this Voss Boys. We didn't talk about that last time.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to talk about that. That is true. That is true.
Until, you know, I saw the joint drop, and I said, "Oh, okay. So these are the brothers. Like, break this down. This 3-man group. What's going on?"
So that stems all the way back to college. So back when I was like, guess I was like 21. Yeah, I was 21.
Way back when you were 21.
Yeah, so we looking
at it like the way he said it. He said it's like 6. When I was 21.
6 years ago. Not when I was back 21. 6 years ago.
I love these young guests.
Lord be killing me, man. Oh,
nah, you good.
Dude, I missed you, man. I missed you. I can't deal with you, but I missed you. Oh man. But man, so not back there, but, you know, a little bit of time ago. Did I get that right? Can I continue?
Yes. No, you're good.
Little bit of time ago, when I was in college. So 2 of my best friends, Tyler and Quan, 2 people that, you know, those like my brothers. I've like Tyler, I've known like forever, and then Quan, just same deal. Like just really, really like those like 2 of my brothers, and we spent, you know, just, I don't know, they were like some of my rocks in college, because I was between computer science kicking my butt and a lot of other factors. It was a real struggle. So like they really like helped me a lot when I was in school, and just like they were always there for me, and, you know, vice versa. Dope. And so we just came up, and we always it was funny. We used to at my college JMU. It's actually funny. It's on my cup. But at my college JMU, we used to actually talk about how the Voss thing came. It was always Coke products in the vending machines, and then one year randomly we switched to Pepsi. And so then in these Pepsi machines, there's these Voss water bottles in the vending machines. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I've never seen this brand before. So we buy them up, and we start just like carrying around, just drinking when we go out and play basketball at the gym a lot. And then somebody one day just called us, "Y'all the Voss Boys."
The Voss Boys.
I was like, that's kind of hard. I was like, that's cool. I was like, all right. And next thing you know, I mean, one day, we in my apartment, we were sitting around and we heard this beat, but I don't even know why we were listening to beats, but we just heard this beat, and then next thing you know, we fell in love with it, and then we recorded this song in my closet, and you know, it came out really well, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. So, you know, so when we kind of collectively started making more music, I fiddled around with music before. Like, it wasn't the first time I ever made a song, but it was like the first time I really made a song. Yeah. And so we started making more and more music whilst in college. Some of the things that like might be on the page that you looked at. And then when I got closer to graduating, like we actually like went into the studio a couple times, like actually, and then that's when I started like really like learning a little bit more about how to like really make a song. And so then started making more music with them, and then a few songs myself. And then when it came to the channel, back when Cade 6 and Forsaken and Cade died and Forsaken, that's when we had a song called Space. And I was like, yo, I kind of want to make this like tribute to Cade 6. And so I made a song and had the video in the background of Cade and put together this whole like, you know, like kind of custom Cade 6 tribute with the song in the background. And I didn't expect anybody to watch it. And because it's like, it's, you know, I make guides and, you know, stream, but I don't make music though for the channel. So, you know, it's kind of weird when you kind of go into a different realm. You don't really think it's going to be accepted or anything. Right. But I put it out and it was like overwhelming, like the amount of support that song got in. And the next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it as the intro of my YouTube videos. So that's awesome. Snippet at the beginning is at every single one of my YouTube videos. And then people are like, well, when's the next one? I was like, next one. And then so I was like, next one. That's all I was like, next one. So then I was like, okay. So we made a couple more. And I'd say the biggest, like outside of like the community response, because it's one of the coolest things to make something that didn't exist and have people really enjoy it. I think that's one of the most like fulfilling things. It's really cool when the people like say some of the lyrics or something. I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
That's fire.
You know, at one point I remember I was sitting in the car and that popped up in my brain, and now like people are saying it's like that's pretty cool. Yes. But then I remember when we put out Moon's Haunted after Shadowkeep. And then I'm sitting. I was sitting at work, and then I get a tweet notification. I look, it's Morla, Eris, dude, and I was like, I saw that. I was like, what? I was like, and it's like talking about she loved the song. Then next thing I know, I get another notification, and she messaged me and was talking about my son won't stop singing your song. That's and I was like, and so next thing you know. Had a full conversation with Morla. Morla's amazing, by the way. Like we met her when we were when we were at Guardian Con. Did you meet her too when we were? Yeah, I think I saw you saying it in line. Yeah, so E and I were at GCX. We both were in line. But yeah, so met her there, but didn't know her at the time. But when I saw that, and then we had a great conversation, and she's just. Like when I tell you, I mean, she's one of the most amazing like voice actors there is, but she is also like one of the most amazing people. She's really cool. And then so we dropped the song for Beyond Light that you were just referencing, and once again said something again, and I was just like, wow. So she's like, my boy CG's added just doing that annual drop. That was really fulfilling because Eris is like, she's like legendary, you know. So having her like making a song that's about like Destiny related, and then to have it acknowledged at all was like. That really made me feel good too. So between the community supporting that and then like Eris, Morla, like that's kind of how that came out though. That's how it came to be. And so now I try to stick to about one Destiny song a year for each big release. So I'm gonna try to do something for Witch Queen with my best friend Tyler. But yeah, none of that would be possible without my friends too with their song. With everything they put into those because they're the ones with the talent. I mean, I enjoy it, but like they really got it. I'm just kind of just there for the ride.
Salute to the Voss Boys, man. Put it down.
That's fantastic, man.
Great story, brother. Great story.
Thanks. That's one of those like tweets where you're like, okay, you can just push me over with a feather right now.
I saw it at work. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa. I was like,
as a content creator,
like, I'm done. I can go home for the day. It's only downhill from here.
Thanks. Some of the best moments as a content creator, for sure. You get that acknowledgement from your peers. Awesome.
That's well. That's okay. Now the show's over because like that's like such a high point. Seriously though. So, honestly, one little random thing I did want to ask you though is there going back to what we were talking about before? I was just what was sticking in my head. YouTube versus Twitch for streaming. Is there anything you notice different? Like, what's the main differences that you see between the two? Because you're one of the few that's like,
there's tons of differences to be honest. Yeah, there's tons. Like, there's a lot of differences to be honest. Like, and I can kind of break it down, but I'll kind of stay like I guess at relatively high level just for the interest of like not talking about it all day because there's a lot to it. But in terms of like getting started, it's easier to start on Twitch, like 100%. In terms of the barrier to entry, in terms of that first milestone that you hit for streaming on on Twitch is affiliation, on YouTube is monetization, right?
Monetization, yeah.
Are the two things. Like in terms of like, I'd say like one of like, the, like I call them feature goals, because like there's plenty of goals, just, having friends and people to talk to and chat. Those are like those goals. But I'm talking about the goals for like, I guess like the Twitch feature that you eventually get as affiliate, and then the YouTube feature is like monetization, right? The barrier that they added for YouTube monetization is extremely hard. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time before you can, and you can't have membership if you don't have monetization. So you can't have emotes if you don't have monetization. Those are some of the basic things that are really fun. Like, about having a couple emotes that, people can use, or seeing a tinfoil hat in the chat, or, all of the Abonis cheetahs.
There's a few of them in chat.
But yeah, that can be really, I would say, deterring, and really, I'd say like, just it can kind of discourage you if like when it's like, man, like that's really hard. Because even I know a couple of people who they hit the 1,000 subscribers, but then it's like, but I'm still like, what are your suggestions for like hitting the 4,000 hours of watch time? That's a lot of watch time.
Yeah,
that's a whole lot of watch time.
Oh yeah,
and that barrier didn't come when I first started. That barrier came, because as well, exactly. Because how long ago did you start, E?
God, is it 4+ now?
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, I started in 2016.
In
2016 in June. So I'll be 5 years in June. But yeah, back when, I started the channel, it was just like, do you want to monetize? And I guess I was like, sure. And, just hit a button, and, and you put in the information, and then next thing you know, that's a thing. But it's not a thing anymore. So basic, like, first step for that affiliation, that monetization, like the most glaring difference is it's a lot harder on YouTube to get started. Yeah. So that part is, like, I'd say, like, kind of blatantly obvious. Yeah. That piece. And then the next piece is, I'd say the connectability. I don't really, that's not even a word, but I'll explain it why, like I'm saying connectability. But like on YouTube, especially if like, like I'm really happy with like the YouTube streaming side of the community that we've kind of, at least on our end, kind of started to develop, where there are like, we have a couple of like different YouTube streamers that are doing amazing, like Versace that's in here. I see, but so I mean, it's great to see a few other YouTube streamers around, but if you don't really know any other streamers, you can feel very alone. In terms, especially when I first got started. So when I first started streaming on the platform back when, I think I still have the app on my phone as a souvenir. Let me see if I can find
the
it.
YouTube gaming app.
Yep. Here it is, right here. So YouTube gaming, it's going to do nothing. It's not going to load. I just never removed it because it's part of where I started. And it just reminds me of, back in the day. Right. So I never deleted the app because you can't download it anymore.
Re-download it again.
It's not
you
available to download.
You got to keep that phone forever now too. No trade-ins.
Yeah, no trade-ins. Exactly. But so with that being said, it felt very isolated back then, especially then because it was just starting. There was a lot of things that a lot of people don't even know about how that used to work, where if you gained any subscribers back when YouTube gaming was a thing on the app, right, those subscribers wouldn't get notified for any videos. Wow. And then people on videos wouldn't get notified for any
So it wasn't
streams.
even an integrated platform.
It was split.
Wow.
And those subscribers wouldn't be notified. It was
That's
cross.
crazy.
So it was almost like you're building. Like, so now they've gotten better with that, but back then especially it was
like
very
a separate
split.
entity almost.
Yeah, exactly right. And so the way that they kind of they did away with the app, obviously, as you saw. But even still, there's no just directory, where you can just like they're trying, but it's not just like a very easy way of here's Destiny, here's this, here's that. Let me click. Here's the streamer streaming. They still have a long way to go to get that directory there where you feel like there's other streamers you can easily find.
Yes.
It still feels very hard a lot of times to find people. Where on Twitch, very easily navigatable. Like, I'm not saying it still takes a while to scroll and find everybody, but very easy navigatable where you can find people streaming the game in seconds, right?
Yep.
Now, is that going to be every single person? No, but you can find people very easily.
Yep.
Another benefit to Twitch.
Not for you, brother.
YouTube side of things. What's great about you? Because there's pros and cons to both. discoverability once you get going. Once you get going, though, that's the that's the
start to
preface.
pop.
Discoverability once you get going.
Facts.
When activities happen, when certain events happen, when anything is actually happening, YouTube can be very powerful in the sense of the recommended.
So the algorithm with the recommended.
There can be times where you end up with a viewing that would be more or less impossible to get on Twitch, just because. Just take, for example, Thorn. Let's just use just random one. Thorn comes out. Everybody obviously is watching who they watch on Twitch, and that's a thing. And then on YouTube, everybody's searching, how do I get Thorn? 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 No videos exist yet because everybody's out getting Thorn.
Right.
If you're streaming on YouTube while that's happening and people are searching, how do I get Thorn? How do I get Thorn? If there's no videos that exist, what do you think pops up?
Yep. You.
That's or anybody that's doing it. Yeah. Right. And so that's like one of the main ways that, like, I mean, in terms of discoverability, especially during certain moments, that can really that YouTube definitely 100% has a very clear edge in, especially if you're not, I'd say, just I don't know, if you're just getting going, it's a little bit easier in that department. There are other differences. I mean, the 50-50 split on Twitch versus the 70-30 on YouTube. That not a lot of people know about, but yeah, it is a lot. The YouTube, I think, tries to entice people a little bit more with that as well. And then lastly, Twitch is just a lot further on the features. Like I said, the raids are big. Just so much better. The different ways of making people feel connected, the channel points, the different ways of engaging people and just having fun. Even if it's just somebody just telling you to hydrate or to stretch or to do whatever or to use their channel points.
Don't give them ideas. That's all I'm gonna say. It's too early, and I worked out today.
Or with me, or to make me put on a tinfoil hat or some sunglasses or whatever the case may be. Those things are really, really cool and YouTube still, like, they're getting there, but those things are already there and very solidified on Twitch, as well as gifting subs too. And people, that's I think going to be something that until YouTube gets that part, I don't see them getting a lot of gigantic people to like make the jump, at least personally. But hopefully I broke that down at least decently.
Oh, no, you killed that.
You absolutely crushed it. And that's one of those too is the recommended is a thing for YouTube, and you never quite know when the light's going to be shining on you brightly. And my biggest video had that happen one time, and then it's like, but also it's like, it's the other side is like, you can have that awesome peak, but then YouTube can also have lulls as well, depending on consistency and stuff like that, because there's a lot of big creators. If you're trying to get in, there's a lot of bigger, like the Twitch directory is deep. The YouTube directory for videos just as if not more. So
agreed.
You can be talented, you can be likable, you can be skilled, you can be funny. There's going to be generally luck in that equation as well. Somewhere,
100%.
Like being ready when the luck comes your way.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Is just continuing to be there until you get lucky.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So, it's definitely a combination.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stories some of the references you were making definitely reminded me, because we started seriously 2018, I would say, seriously. 2016 we started, we had the channel, but I remember like, man, we got to get 1,000. Like, I remember just trying to get 1,000, like on YouTube, just so you can have monetize, you can have the emotes, you can do the super chats, because once that happens, it really creates that connection with the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not just monetization, but it's really cool to be able to have that aspect, because there's not any real other YouTube aspects to engage yet. Right. So that the emotes are a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to the Twitch point, you said, like one thing that's so cool about it, like you said, the feature to raid another person's stream. It's that interconnective thing. So it's like actually when someone else on the community sees you on, they can do vice. It's just spreading the love and communities kind of mixing. So I do see where you're going with that. Yeah. And like I said, again, testament to you to be able to do both. That is a very rare thing, and you understanding this stuff and providing the content you're providing, as well as people, gravitating towards you. So that's dope, man.
Thanks, bro.
Well, obviously we do talk about looter shooters and things like that. And come February 25th, we are going to talk about a different game on this podcast as well, called Outriders. Because, that one honestly looks like a ton of fun. Honestly, they're seeing The biggest thing I can say before we get into Destiny is just because they've been dropping tweets about armor sets and stuff this week. For one, they have armor sets. I'm like, thank you. We've been asking for a minute, but honestly, I will say like the gaming landscape right now has had its ups and downs, to say the very least. Your Avengers, your Cyberpunks, your goods, your bads, like they're going everywhere. They're one of the rare, like somewhat deep, longer RPGs with like a bespoke in-game. But the fact that like whether you believe anything anybody tells you about it, there is a free demo on February 25th to try it, and your progress goes into the full game. So you're like, oh, cool, I got my character up to level 8. You literally can jump in and go from there when the game goes live. And that, I think, is like one of those things why I think my interest is piqued is there. One, have the confidence to do it. And then two, just the more I see about it, the more just honestly to give it a shot. Because if nothing else, you get a free chance. And that's rare. And I just wanted to see what you guys were thinking about Outriders, if you'd seen it or if you even care.
So I did see a trailer. And I heard about the demo. And so I think I'm gonna pop in and see what it's about. I don't have like any strong opinions either way yet. I did think it was funny that I don't know why I was having weird deja vu about jumping into a new looter shooter in February. I was like, I'm having a weird deja vu. Why is this even familiar? I'm jumping into another game in February. When did I do this before? And then I think you know what I'm talking about with the good old Anthem back in the day.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, moving on.
I'm pulling for them.
I've seen the trailer, and I think it's at least worth like playing around, running around, seeing what it's about.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, for me, it's like people can fly. I know about them a bit, and like what I like is that they're not. The mistake I feel a lot of these looter shooters do is they see the formula Destiny has, and they're like, we're going to be the Destiny killer, we're going to do this, and it's live service, and we're offering just as much as they are, and it's like, no, they are creating their own lane. They're not promoting. They're specifically saying, look, there's not going to be any of that microtransaction kind of stuff, and it's going to be PvE only. Like they're carving their specific lane and setting expectations correctly. And I like when they do that. So that to me is a good start. Look, I've been spoken to E about this, but I keep forgetting. I always mean to bring it up. Now I'm bringing it up today. Is that Destiny needs to be pushed.
It does.
Destiny needs to be pushed at the end of the day because it's always better. It's always better. And at the end of the day, it's the de facto king. It has survived all these winters and summers. And, even as angry as we are, some of the community is now, we're still playing. We still got the hours. And I'll never forget, I always salute Division 1. I remember when Division 1 dropped during like a very cold stage of Destiny. And I would say that was like before Taken King, after House of Wolves, I think.
I want to say it was like 2015 or was it 14? I remember that
probably would have been House of Wolves or that big break.
Right, because there was no raid. Trials was there, but there was no raid. Trials just keeping it alive kind of barely. Yeah. And then, it was a while for that drought before Taken King actually came, right?
Yeah, it was.
And people were concerned, and at that time, here comes this young, aggressive, new looter shooter in New York City, snowdrop engine looking good. And people pulled away. And I remember the Destiny community, my friends were like, yo, we over here now. I'm like, you traitors. How dare you? You know what I'm saying? How dare you? But I was in my feelings at first. I was like, Destiny's going to come back. I was so stubborn. I was still playing Destiny. It wasn't that good at the time. But I would still love the game so much. I was like, it's going to be better. It's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. But now the reality is.
And then they dropped Taken King.
Yep. You already know what happened.
Competition.
You already know what happened there. But long story short, just like competition is always good. And I want to see Outriders just as a palette cleanse, see what they got to offer. See, and again, if they offer some new things and get a little buzz, again, maybe force Bungie's hand a little bit just to, pay attention to what these guys are doing a little bit.
Yeah, it's just nice to see, as you said, PvE alone only. There's not the PvP balanced sandbox. So you see stuff that looks kind of broken. It's like, guess what? You're fighting enemies. Doesn't matter. It can be broken. Right. The animations on some people say it looks like a little too gritty. I'm like, you're going to have your dystopian worlds and things like that. And Destiny does have a point where, sure, you're going to have your kind of beat up EDZs and ruins, but you've also got like the vibrancy of the Leviathan, which is unique. And Destiny is really cool for amazing environments. But I will say, like, as you said, they've stated very clearly, there's a start and an end to this thing.
Yes.
There is but they're like, hey, we're going voice acted story.
Mhm.
40-ish hour campaigns, like one number I heard once. Once you
Mhm.
finish the campaign, there's like 14 to 15 like new in-game
Mm.
levels to grind for
Yeah.
like time challenges and higher gear and levels. They've got the world tier system, but like they've got those
Mhm.
options. You've got skill trees that are like deep enough that
Mhm.
you have to kind of commit to get to the end of one, and you might be able to get some other stuff, but you can't just like, I want everything. No, you're gonna
Right,
have to
nah.
like, and I miss skill trees from D1, for example, like
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
picking.
Yeah,
So-
that's
I feel
something
you.
that I'm still hoping they might readopt.
And it's like that. So seriously, like, and that's the RPG side I wish Bungie would lean into, because you're gonna have your stats and your armor and your loot. It's gonna be there, but you've also got like skills and other things that you're gonna have. I don't know if it's quite like Diablo where you're like, I want vitality and I want other stuff, but I was like, just keep leaning into the RPG if they want it to. Again, I'm still curious what they're going to do with armor. I've harped out on about that for episodes. I don't know what's going to happen, but they want to make armor not just a replacement annual stat holder that holds your
Yeah.
mods. Like they've said they want to change that. I'm very curious where they take that, and seeing something like Outriders with armor sets and bonuses that come from those, and the way they're taking like you earn a unique, like could the way that works for them, like you earn a legendary or a high tier piece of armor. They have like mods that come with them. You
Mhm.
can get another one of those, pull that mod out, and put it in something else, combine like two different abilities together.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, that
that.
level of customization could be dope.
Yeah. So
Yeah, could
just
be.
seeing all the different varieties that has is just like, I'd love to see Destiny again. The balance is tough. I know like the PvE, PvP balance, but it's just exciting to see something. I think that you can play the whole package when you buy it. There's no DLC, no other stuff, nothing else planned. So overall, I'm just kind of like, as I said on Twitter, I was like, I'm leaning optimistic now at this point. Get my
Mhm.
hands
Yeah.
on the free demo and see how it feels. So
No doubt, man. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, gotta check it out, see what's going on.
Yep.
And it looks promising, and I gotta see. When's the release date? When's our release date looking
I
like?
think the 25th, right?
25th is the demo, and then
Oh, the
April
demo,
1st is
my
the
bad.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
Which
in.
it's not April Fool's, to my understanding.
That's
Okay,
why I
good.
hope it doesn't
Good.
flop on launch day, because then everybody's the memes are gonna
Yeah.
Oh,
the
April Fool's,
if,
yeah.
If it flops on April Fool's, that'd just be
Honestly, like,
I
the
almost
biggest
just hope they'll just shift the day just for
Just move the
just to
date,
get just
bro.
to
We're
get
doing
off
it April
the
2nd.
juice. Yeah,
Why?
just,
So there's
just
no
get
jokes.
off the voodoo. Yeah,
Yes.
just yeah, but
Mhm.
you know.
So what we got
Honestly,
going on
like
with
the
this
demo,
game?
I'll tell probably beforehand, so we'll know. But yeah, I was gonna ask CB. So, what have you been up to in the world of Destiny? Since that's obviously our big topic of discussion tonight. Before we actually get into the juiciness of the week.
In Destiny, honestly, for the most part, outside of, when new stuff comes in playing it, same deal. Still just been helping, just kind of shifted some of the things that I used to do a little bit more focus on. You guys know I was really big. I loved and really big into Whisper and Outbreak and some of those secret missions. So I've been happy that Hawkmoon's been back. It's kind of been scratching that itch a little.
Nice.
It's been scratching that itch a little bit. So it's been mainly for me raid help, dungeon help, exotic help, and then dipping our feet into trials on Friday.
Ooh.
But outside of that, that's been the biggest parts.
Mhm.
I haven't been, I'd say, super engaged in this season.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
when new stuff comes, obviously there, like to do it. But then like after that, then I usually end up back in. We've been doing a lot of Last Wish. I've been enjoying seeing a lot of newer people get their 1Ks to drop and seeing those reactions again. And
That's
doing
dope.
some
That's
Deep
dope.
Stone Crypt in the same deal.
How we feeling about Deep Stone Crypt, sir? I haven't got a chance to talk to you about raids because you know how we like to talk raid.
I liked it for its farmability. Like that was one of the biggest pieces for me that I really enjoyed. I love how you can just fly through it, and then I love how it's also just one that even when I finish it, I don't feel very burned. Where like I enjoy going through it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Favorite
say
encounter.
the only caveat for me is I actually enjoyed contest mode so much that it made me sad that I couldn't add it back.
Yeah. I feel you.
I really, really wish, and with that one especially, because I feel like they had the right level.
Yes.
On at least on every, I feel like they had the right level on that one. Where some of them with contest felt like, it was like crazy, but that one I felt like they actually had like a really good point where I think the hardcore people would have liked it, and even people who maybe aren't hardcore, I think also would have liked that challenge of keep pushing until you can get that contest mode done, type thing. So overall, I did like it. I thought the weapons were cool. I thought the system at the end of being able to get weapons and kind of tune your loot,
bro,
tuning your loot is something
Wrath of Machine vibes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you get the
vibes.
spoils of war at the end.
Yep,
to keep
spoils at
farming.
the end. Like they did a lot of things right.
Yeah,
They did a lot of things right. So I overall am a fan, yes,
doubt.
of it. And so
Where does it fall on? Is it in your?
Where does it
is
go?
it near
Where
the
does-
top,
where-
or where's
in
it
the
falling
Pantheon?
for your listing?
Early feeling. Where's it in the Pantheon?
In D2 or at all? In all of them?
Overall, where's it at?
Overall, where's it in the Pantheon?
Yeah. Overall.
That's hard, right? It's hard. I know. I was thinking about it too.
Well, you know, it's not touching Wrathvolt or King's Fall for me. So
No doubt,
I guess
no doubt.
Is
it out the top five?
It might be. Man, it doesn't have a hard mode though.
Oh.
It might be top 5 for me, to be honest.
Nice.
Maybe, but it's hard for me. So I definitely, because the top 4 I think are Last Wish, King's Fall, Axis, and Vault of Glass.
The D1,
That's
D1,
the four.
D1.
and
Last Wish.
Last Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
I think with
That's
that
it.
5th, I'm gonna put for most well done. And I would probably I think that I might put it there. And then because I'm weird, I love Spire. And for my own not actual rational thing, I might throw my Spire in there with no
Okay.
rational
Oh,
opinion.
God, that's right.
No even reasons to put it there. I realize it's not better, but that's my raid. I miss it.
Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you
but-
in that raid right there. Continue.
Yeah, I remember right before the sunsetting happened. That's the last thing we were doing help streams on. We were doing Spires. It's like, man, I'm
Checking
so
on my
sad
dogs.
to see it go.
No,
Oh, no,
go
you're
for
good.
it.
You're good.
You're good. Yeah.
But what about you?
Obliviate.
Where do you have it? Where does it fall for you?
Well, first, before I get the ranking, I wanted to say, as far as the encounters, I really love this raid. I haven't rated this much in a while. So I know because I'm rating this much, I enjoyed it. I'm completely with you. It's great, but I can't go top 3, those 4 that we talked.
Yeah.
Those 4 are just solidified right now, right?
Yeah.
So, but it is fun. Here's where it definitely top 5 for me, right? Is, like you said, farmability.
Yep.
I feel, like I said, the weapons are amazing. These new perks, the recombination or whatever.
Yep. Reconstruction. Yep.
Reconstruction, right?
Yep.
Eyes in tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The farm. And the last thing, I don't think it gets enough credit, even though I was a little, not that the boss fight is dope. I was just a little disappointed.
It was a little bit of a letdown. No,
Yeah,
you're
like,
you're
Tanics
100%
again?
because it was like this, right?
They
It
were
was
like
like this
this.
the whole time. And
Yeah.
maybe even, and then you get to the lullaby and you look outside and then it's like
Bro,
this low
when
key.
it hit
and then you're
lullaby,
like, and then the
I'm
next
like-
encounter like is all crazy. You see sirens.
Yes.
I'm still going up. And then I get there, I'm like, Tanics?
Bro,
Yep.
same thing.
Alex.
You start
I
outside,
agree.
you need mechanic, you nailed it. You start outside,
Yeah.
you need mechanic, then you got
Yeah.
the vault thing, then you go 8 tracks, okay.
Yeah.
You jumping in elevators. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool. Then it's like, boom, we go. Once you hit outside and the Deep Stone Lullaby kick,
Yeah.
I was like,
Like I
this
said.
might be, we going into GOAT territory now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then I love, like you said, I love the frenetic nature of the ship about to crash and the bombs and that music hit and you, like, all right, who got the suppressor? Like that music hit is pure chaos and I love it. Then the boss have him and it's not that the encounter is whack. It's just, I didn't want to see you, fam. Like I wanted to see Clovis. Like I'm gonna be real. I was like, where's Clovis at? So I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, guys. You about to jump in.
I just don't think he held as much weight as like think about when you first see Oryx, and that
Thank
man
you.
is like,
Oh.
you're like,
Preach.
what? They already
Preach.
are like,
There,
you're like,
there are small
Riven,
clip
the
videos of people
first
walking
time-
up like,
Preach.
no.
yeah, the first time you drop down the circle and see Riven,
Preach.
Yeah.
or even even on a smaller scale, Atheon and Axis. I don't know.
Axis
I
is
just
fire.
maybe it's just because he's been used a couple times. Maybe we wouldn't feel like he was
Yeah.
epic if he wasn't. But
I
I
agree.
still, even with like trying to have like unbiased blind eyes that have never seen Tanics before,
Right.
I still don't think he would have hit as hard for
No.
me.
I would agree. I agree.
At
He's-
least
He's
personally.
a fallen kind of Kel, but we see those in story missions. We see him over here and there, and it's just like he just, he had his little floaty robot bottom half, and then he's kind of roaming around the other part before. But it's like even Atrax was a step up because you're like, this is an exo fall, and you're like, he actually looks kind of cool.
Yes.
I'm with you. It's like take that to the next level where it's like I want to see either bigger or just something about like if you're gonna put Tanik's name on it, put it like mechanic. Like I want to see like Godzilla Tanix. Like I don't care, just like something ridiculous is all. So
shout out to Ruku Hollywood. It said, "Yo, chill. Tanix doesn't even have a house. Yo, Hollywood Tanix in the duffel since he has no house. Yo, they stupid."
And I don't know. And this is Tanix still is one of the dopest cloaks in all of history. He made me play Hunter, so this is no hate on Tanix because I played Hunter for that man. I wanted to wear that cloak of Tanix. Now, speaking of that, I know we're gonna get into all the Destiny stuff here or the what we want in the future in a second, but strike armor, please.
I want my Titan Shield Brothers gauntlets.
Please,
you got the Scion.
I've been advocating for it every single day. And it'd be such a lightweight, like low lift, high reward. I think change they could put in. It's just a couple pieces on each character, sprinkle them into the strikes, and you got me in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we will talk about the viability of playlists here in a little bit, but no.
I want to jump the gun.
Like, as a Titan, the Darkblade helm has been still one of my favorite pieces of armor in the game because I'm literally wearing the dude's head as a hat.
As a hat.
All cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a few spicy weeks in the world of Destiny 2, to say the least. And if you follow the Destiny Twitter, maybe you muted half of it. I don't know. But either way, it's been interesting. So keep your wits about you. Block the people you need to. Follow. Take everything with a grain of salt. However you got to do it. But of course, another TWAB happened, and of course, Destiny's Twitter exploded. Couple things. One, obviously, Hawkmoon Missions have been back. Harbinger's been doing its thing, kind of cool. Some people are finishing it, getting their ships. Overall, as you said, it's nice to have one of those missions back, especially as we just lost both of the two that kind of made secret mission runs for content creators and helps and stuff like that a really cool thing. It's nice to have one back. I took my brother and his son through it, which was really cool for the three of us to go through. So
nice.
That was fun. And it even actually this week, different mechanics in the boss fight.
Different path too.
Different pathing. And I was like, all right, so you go. As soon as I took him, I was like, so you're going to, hold on, we're going to go somewhere else. And I was like,
there's the force field thing. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was like, okay, different feather locations. I was like, all right, well done. Way to mix it up. So there's just a little variation. I dug that.
Yeah, I did too.
Season of the Redacted trailer goes live February 2nd.
Yes,
Tuesday reset, probably at like 9 a.m.
Probably like right around
Pacific,
that reset time, probably. Yeah.
What do you guys want to see from this? And what are your hopes? What do you don't want to see? What do you do? Guest of honor, of course, is first.
So it's funny. Like I'm just curious if they're gonna go like left field and introduce somebody that we might not realize, or if they're gonna continue what we got going on, or at least personally in terms of what makes sense from what I've already seen this season. What I would like to see is a continuation of the Crow, maybe a little bit more involved, and then I also want to see a little bit more Zivo Arath. I want to know a little bit more, and I want to see a little bit more like of what's evolving in the Dreaming City, and I want to know what's coming, because I mean, you can't just say Savathun's got a sister and she's doing blah, and then like where like I want to see some more about it. I want to feel the effects of it. Right now, like they've talked about her. I know we have Wrathborn hunts, but I don't feel like we're in any danger.
Yes,
I don't have any of those vibes. Like like there was a real cool thing about even just the buildup they had, where it's like, oh, we see pyramids, you see the world's kind of evolving a little bit. Right now, it's like you introduced because we haven't really met her yet, but introduce one of the biggest, most powerful entities that they've been talking about with Savathun, her sister. And I'm not feeling much of that effect yet. And I'm hoping that they're just starting to build that. So for me personally, I want that to continue to build. That's me.
Nice.
Solid as always, sir. Solid. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think, obviously we're getting the conclusion of, well, not the conclusion, but the continuation of obviously Crow being free and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. My gut tells me, knowing Bungie, they're probably going to divert a little bit and not give us the direct continuation of where Crow's going to go. So knowing Bungie, so I'm not going to go there, but, got my Cyrus shirt on today.
Let's go.
We'll get that. We'll. Oh, what?
Oh, should I? Oh, well, we're gonna get there.
We'll get
I'm talking about
there,
lore.
yeah.
I'm talking about
Okay,
lore. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
there. I'm not going to touch that part.
Yeah.
But that's the other reason why I want to share that. But nah, like for me, I remember when we saw the initial press materials and trailers for Beyond Light.
Yeah.
My man was in the back like this, and Zavala was in the front.
He was.
And there was a Cabal.
We had the Cabals in the back.
And we have yet to see that cinema. We have yet to see that.
Yep.
Right.
100%
So
right.
But better time now, right? So my thing is, how does that the Wrathborn stuff and Ziva Wrath affect the Cabal?
Yep.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about the rumors, so I don't know. Want me to stay away from the rumors of the season of the Redacted? Should we stay away?
What do you guys think? Just the
It's
three of
up to
us. Like for me, I would say the rumors have been flying. If you are on Twitter, Paul Tassie's got
Right.
his thoughts out there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you want to skip it, we'll try and wave our hands for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was like if you want to talk about it, honestly, like we're so
let's
close at
ask
this
CB
point.
too. If we don't have to talk about it.
I'm fine either way. So whatever
You
it is
sure?
you guys show,
Okay.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good with
I
whatever.
was like, there's speculation. I don't think anything's
Yeah.
confirmed, but like looking at iconography and stuff like that, people are starting to lean a very specific direction. So, Cognito, if you
Right.
want to kind of breach
Yeah,
that
I mean,
topic, crazy hand wave now.
Crazy hand. Yeah, crazy hand. Spoiler if you don't
Spoiler
wanna
alert in
know.
5, 4, 3,
Three,
2,
two,
1.
one.
Okay.
Spoiler.
I sound like
Yeah.
count whoever. Sesame Street guy.
So shout out to Tassie, man. He's put out the article, and then the rumor is Callus's sister, and from my understanding, can't pronounce the name. Caitlin. I
Keitel.
can't pronounce Keitel. So from my understanding, she was part of the coup on Callus. So this is a very interesting figure. This is a very interesting figure because of the whole, obviously we know the whole Dominus Gaul story and how he came into power. But remember, Callus was in power first. They had to overthrow him, thus the midnight coup to get him out of there. It was a very cool story. So I'm very curious because, to be honest, I didn't think they would, if it happens, I didn't think they would go back to Callus just yet.
I didn't either.
I'm all about Callus.
And that's why I'm still kind of like I did hear that in the like I heard a couple whispers of that.
Yeah.
Like in terms of because I think it was on Twitter. It's just like you said, it was on Twitter.
Right.
But it'd just be so weird because I love if around that time it'd be like, hey, and also back from the DCV, here's Leviathan. I would have expected something like that. In between the seasons after Witch Queen, building maybe for Lightfall,
Right.
when we form the Avengers and we get Callus on our side and we go
Yes.
fight the darkness, then
Exactly.
maybe all that builds then. So I don't know how much I don't know how much weight it holds. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
But
Yeah.
for timing, it would be a little strange to me.
It is strange. I'll be honest. Like I didn't
It'd be a little
expect
strange for me.
that story to be if it is.
Yeah, especially when we just started talking about Sabbath and Sister. It's like I just want to know a little bit about this.
Yeah,
person.
I know.
Yeah, it's like-
let me. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one because I'm torn because we obviously had the darkness kind of like squeeze our universe a little bit. And we're like the parts that like left. And we didn't get any idea like Callus like drive away. Did he just get consumed as well?
Leviathan just pulled out. Like it's
Yeah,
just,
it's like we don't know where the hell Leviathan's at or what's going on or what we can see or whatever. So it's like it's still like the timing of things would be quick to see Leviathan come back. But also it's like if it's Cabal, as you said, if Leviathan's here at all, you're like, well, I know you got to raid there, raid there, raid there,
Right.
raid there. Why can't we have those? And it's like, so
I
that's
want,
why
I
I
want
don't.
I want the back. I
Right.
want the back.
So
and
that's why
probably
I-
with reprised stuff.
That's
Right.
why
If
I
it was
don't
me.
think they're going to be there.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm about to say. What's the over under? You think?
I think I think Cabal, because again, the cutscene, Zavala Osiris, 2 Cabal Centurion champions, whoever sitting around like a hologram, like some meeting of like collective minds is bound to happen unless they just threw away that cinematic. So I still think, and by the iconography of what we'll get to in the season stuff, it looks Cabal related. But I don't think the Leviathan can just like come back and be like, well, you can go to this room, but you can't do the raid. This one.
It would,
Like
it
the
would
whole
hurt a little
underbelly,
bit,
like-
'cause it would hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
because
like,
I'm
so-
all for. I definitely want to know more about Callus's story, but when we just got it yanked,
I feel you.
I would just be a little weirded
All right, but let me-
out
let
by
me-
it.
let me try to-
I want to know more about
Let
it.
me try to bring y'all in since y'all not on board. What about? All right, Callus sister, and then we learned some information about her, and then What about we can we all agree we miss 6-player activities?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, so what about some form of the
Oh,
menagerie?
menagerie back.
With the return,
so wait
you know what I'm saying? She
the
running
ups
it.
and downs of this discussion.
You know what I'm saying? Let's say
and
we
see,
go back
once
to menagerie, though.
once again, I'd be perfectly happy. But I'm just like, man, why
We did
did
it.
we removed it for a season to bring it back? I'm
Okay.
fine with it though. I would be
Oh.
perfectly happy if Menagerie came back. The game is strongly missing that because it's an itch that Wrathborn Hunts just unfortunately isn't scratching.
And
It's
to
not
me,
scratching.
I agree. I completely agree, brother. Like to me, what's missing is like I still like the sundial. I still like a 6-player activity when you're doing the season. Right? Because the season is a bit of it's lesser content. But now if you get more people involved, that makes it a little bit more fun. You know what I'm saying?
I do agree.
So
I do agree.
that's what I'm hoping. Even if it's not Menage, which I hope it is, that would be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get the argument, like, yo, dude, we already had that. That's the same
Yeah.
content. But I get it, and it's valid.
Look,
it is valid. But
but I
that
agree
was
with
the
you.
best
I agree
6-player
with you.
activity. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with you. I agree.
And I wouldn't. Now this is where I won't get mad with reissue.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, yo, you give me Midnight Cool. Or you give me some of them rage, like, you know what I'm saying? Like then it's like, again, that's where as Destiny fans sometimes we're a little hypocritical, but when it's our beloved thing, or beloved sets, and those are brought back, I don't see people complaining. People are like, oh yeah, we want that.
No, you bring up a really good point. I mean, Menagerie, even Sundial. I know Sundial didn't get the praise I think it deserved when it first was out, just because it followed Menagerie. So everybody was calling it. We didn't know what we had, but now what we have here, Sundial was really good.
It was really good.
It was really good. It had rotating bosses. It had a nice climax with the at the end with the final boss when we got to the week with the final scions. We had loot we could kind of tailor exactly what we want. We got to choose on different. Some of the weapons were really good, like some of those firing line.
Can we pour out
to roll back
can
on
we
the
pour
line
out
in
a
the
liquor for
sand?
the
Firing line
1260?
and what was it?
No, you're right. It was
firing line
still feel the repeater.
Yeah, line was firing line. I forget what the other perk was I was looking for, but yeah, there was they had something there too.
Bro,
and
we
so
gotta pour out.
with all of them gone, it's like you can feel that void.
Yes,
you can feel that void.
Yeah, pour out a little liquor for the 1260 weapons that we're gonna lose. It's about 2 weeks. I missed those for a little bit. Because man, what was it? Steel feather repeater.
Yep.
The connection. Perfect paradox.
Perfect paradox. Old fashioned.
Breachlight.
Patron of the lost. Whatever was it? The scout.
Patron of lost causes.
Yep.
Steel feather repeater. The
Breachlight.
Breachlight. But I'm thinking Martyr's Retribution. GL.
Marty's. Yep.
Yeah, so all of those are
it's a good run.
Yeah, so like Season of Dawn is that stuff's going away at the end of next season or now?
So Season of Dawn is out come now.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, so Season of Worthy. We literally call it Season of Unworthy, so it's just like stuck on the podcast. But yeah, literally most of those weapons from Season of the Worthy, those in next season, which is a lot of people's place for
7th Seraph stuff.
Yep,
I believe, right? And the LMG too. Yeah, like all of those. Yeah.
So quite a few pieces of the mods for why can I not think of these things?
Charge. The balls, Warband cells.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, Warman cell mods. All that stuff is like that's a big chunk of those. That's next season. So again, this is where sunsetting have a year lifestyle is really going to start hitting this season and next season between Dawn and Worthy. When those both are gone, I will be very curious how do they balance it? How many reissues do we have? How much new stuff do they have? Do they go ahead and bring another set of
I don't want to get too far ahead because I know we're going to talk about the TWAB, but with the Umbrals coming back, I wouldn't be surprised if they pour a lot of old stuff into them. Like, so I'm talking about we might mess around, open those up, and we might see Hammerhead. You never even know what might end up.
Do you know how good my Hammerhead was? Like,
I bet it was really good. Or
probably
we might mess
most
around.
People's it was like Feeding Frenzy, Rampage.
We might mess around one day and see spare rations in there. You never know.
I'm telling you, when I see Go Figure, I'm breaking a controller.
That's the type of way. Like when I kind of hear them say something like Umbrals and then bringing back old seasonal stuff and not the new stuff, because they even said they're not bringing any of the Because if you think about it, they said they're not going to do any of the
Wrathborn hunts
of this Wrathborn hunt stuff in the Umbral Engrams. So then it's like, okay, well, what are you putting?
What are you putting back?
So, and if it's not going to be the stuff that just got sunset, because think about it, if the Season of Dawn stuff that just got sunset ends up in the Umbral Engrams, then the people are going to be like, well, why do we even sunset it?
Right.
So we need to take it all the way back, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Gambit and Forge weapons in there. It's just my own personal thought, because it wouldn't make, they said old season stuff, and it literally doesn't make sense to put anything that's about to be sunset in there, because people will just get mad.
I mean, there's going to be a world of pissed off people when they go look in those Umbral Engrams the first day.
I wouldn't be surprised if you know, the big bum that gets dropped eventually is you go grab a spare rations or God knows what. Who knows?
So that being said, we haven't really asked you too much. What are your thoughts on like reissues? I know you guys joked about Menagerie, and I'll have my devil's advocate here in a second because I do have an opinion. But on the weapons, like it was a week or two ago when you read like, okay, so the dungeons are going to come back reissues. Like, what are your thoughts on how Sunset is currently being handled?
So I'm very much, unfortunately, like not with it. And in the sense, the sad thing is I like sunsetting. By definition, I like sunsetting. I am a fan of sunsetting because one of the big things, we had sunsetting in the best era of Destiny, Taken King. We lost the best weapon ever. Still, Destiny 1 and 2, we lost the best weapon ever with Galahorn. We lost Icebreaker. We lost Fatebringer. We lost, fill in the list with some of the best weapons in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. We lost a lot of stuff. Word of Crota. We lost so many things. Necrochasm. We lost a lot of stuff. Vex Mythoclast. We lost a ton of stuff. The list goes on and on. No one complained. I was too busy trying to get my Touch of Malice. I was too busy messing around with all the new strike weapons. I was too busy getting all the stuff in the raid. I was too busy getting Clever Dragon and all the cool things in Iron Banner. And the list goes on and on and on. So sunsetting, by definition of just pulling things out, is okay for me if the execution's correct. And with the execution comes, if you take out, like, let's say, just let's use a number value for it. If I take out a number 10, I got to put back in a number 10. I can't have it where the scale is, I take out 10 and I put back in 3. You know, the scale starts, and you start
like
feeling, you start feeling what you're missing. And so that's the first part, is that I'm okay if it's an even distribution of what you take and what's new. And that is wrong when you take out a 10 and you put back in a 10, but the 10 you put in is just the old, from the old 10. So that part then is like, you know, like I wish, you know, if you're going to pull it out, put something new, something in new. And then the last part that I think really hurts it is they didn't just sunset weapons and armor, which is what they did in D1. They sunset activities. And so we're really feeling the effects, because think about it. Yeah, I was like, this is unfortunate. I can't use Fatebringer and Taken King, but I can go play Vault of Glass every weekend still because I love it.
Right.
Like, you know, I can't use Word of Crota or Black Hammer like in Wrath of the Machine, but I'm gonna still go solo Crota every night because I love it on my hunter. So losing,
you even had like different stuff to go tackle it with. Same
exactly.
activity. But now you're like, hey, now
Raise Lighter. Let me go throw a Raise Lighter in there with Crota. Yeah, I used to love that. I would go solo Crota with my hunter with the Raise Lighter, and then Don't Touch Me. That'd be my favorite thing to do. But that is also where I think we're really feeling the weight. It's not only are we feeling the loot we're missing, but a lot of people are feeling the activities we're missing. I'm like, man, I don't have Outbreak anymore. I don't have Whisper anymore. Okay, well, maybe I can go do the raids. Oh, wait, never mind. Spire, Crown, Leviathan, and then Scourge. And like they're all gone. I can't do those. And then it's like, oh, I like Sundial. Let me go. Nope, can't do that. It's like, so, you know, I love the Black Armory. No, can I go do the Forge? Nope, can't do that. It's like, you know, I love Menagerie. So we didn't just lose a bunch of loot. We lost a bunch of fun activities. Yeah. And so I think the combination of those two things too, when we don't add the same amount of or at least similar amount of either activities or armor back, is like kind of a recipe, I feel like, for disaster.
Yeah, your young boy's on fire once again. Not much I have to add to it because he pretty much nailed it. I mean, that's just what it is. It's just what it is. And again, it's just not that equal distribution. So, you know, when that happens, you know, rightfully so, people are going to be upset. And thus, the disdain for reissue, because it's just like you've taken so much away, it almost feels like a slap to the face to get some of this stuff that you've already grinded for back so quickly too. That's the thing, so quickly, because the last point, and I think they don't get railed over the coals for this, is that when D2 was announced, when we masterworked or whatever, it was supposed to be this connection with the guns, and then you have this kill count. You have the kill count and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
but now with reissue, it's like, well, what's the point? Because at the end of the day, you're taking this stuff away, then you're bringing it back. And if you're going to do that, like I always suggested, for the people who already have their God roles, that is insulting. And to them, it's like, well, why don't you just let me keep my Night Watch or my whatever, right?
Agreed.
Just bring the power level up of mine. And if a new guy wants that, or someone was unlucky and they want, or if you say, hey, okay, you know what? I got my God roll this, but you did add some new perks on, Night Watch, whatever. Give me the option to do it, as opposed to strong arming me saying, no, you can't use this. It's in my vault. It's in my possession. And now, you got to go get it again. That is just disrespect to player investment.
And I like one of the things you said there too, Lord, with the part about reset, especially so quickly. Because there's a right way to do everything. There's nothing wrong with even bringing things back later in maybe a slightly different variation. How excited were we when they reprised all of the raids at the end of D1's life cycle after the April upgrade?
Oh, that was so dope.
Could you imagine
my reaction? What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say,
I would love it.
Can you imagine if at Lightfall,
I would love it.
Like they did, everything's back.
Yes.
Here's all the old stuff. We're gonna throw some of the old stuff at you. And that's kind of their final year buffer before whatever else is next. But like Lightfall is like, here's the chaos of everything. You got like 2 years later, like wouldn't be quite as bad. Be like, oh, I remember this thing. Oh, you could go here. Like that's kind of why even you guys are like, oh, I'd be happy to see Menagerie. It's a great activity. It's cool. It's fun. But again, we just lost it.
We just lost it.
Exactly.
And that's why for me, it would feel, I know everybody's like, give us Menagerie back. And I get that it would be a better activity with some like tweaks to it and stuff like that than probably most other things we're going to be able to get because it's something that's already been built. They can give it a different coat of paint and polish it up. And it's like, here's some more stuff. But that's also like, we have done this before.
Right.
And we want new things. Right. Again, not more of the same. It's like, I understand resources are tight and stuff like that. And that, again, we'll get to one other piece. But it's like the speed of things coming back, that's the part that is tough.
Exactly.
And the last point, I mean, Dakota touched on it, which I was going to say too, is that what, CB killed it with the whole, the activities, right? The core things also being moved away, which also hurt them. But now you've got core activities that remained, right? Like in Shadowkeeper Forsaken, that's dropping sunset loot.
Yep,
so now you're just point. Like, you didn't even put something in this. Like they're going to fix it now.
Yeah.
But it's this combination of all these little
and you're
mishaps.
so right. And just to continue to piggyback off it, it's unfortunate we got to keep piggybacking. Like I wish there wasn't any more to say, but like same deal with the Crucible. It's like, we remove a bunch of maps from the areas that got sunset, besides a couple, because I kept Pacifica. But besides that, they removed, I think, the majority of the maps that were on the old Crucible. And then we didn't even get a Europa map.
Not even a
Europa. And I don't even, and this is like from somebody who isn't even like, I love PvP, but like it's obviously it's not where I focus on most of my time. But that hurts. Like to get a planet that, especially like at least for me, like Europa's my favorite destination. I had it on my screensaver, the old concept art on my laptop. When I remember being on my Mac in college with my Europa screensaver on my Mac. And to not have like a new Gambit map show up on there, to not have a new Crucible map show up in Europa. That hurts too, because then you removed some of those strikes, you removed some of those Crucible maps and Gambit maps, and then there wasn't a allocation of what was pulled. So
and that's the PvP community, rightfully so, feels like the redheaded stepchild. Like they just don't feel any love. Even Strike got a new the blast way. Right. So it's like anyway, we could go on about this.
We could.
No, it's like I wanted to get your thoughts because generally it's like I see what you're working on, what you've been doing, and you especially are like, I like helping people in all of these things. And even for you, like 60% of your help stuff just got jacked Like it's
It did.
gone. And now you're
did.
like, there's less things for even me to help with. So it's like, hey, we're going to do Whisper missions. Hey, we're going to go help you guys with Leviathan because some people haven't seen it. Hey, we're going to go do Zero. Or we're like, you all have so many fewer options. So even for you, like you said, Deep Stone Crypt is nice because you don't feel burnt going through it, but there's still less options. At some point, you're going to start to see more and more of the same. And you just had a lot more variety of things to help people with an experience and have experiences like, hey, have you ever done Leviathan? No. Are you seeing a place covered in just shiny gold? This place is going to be a little crazy. Let's go.
Hey, nail on the head, bro. You couldn't have said that any better.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I completely agree. So we could talk about it all day, but yeah, I definitely miss guy. One day it's like you said, it could be a Whisper. Next day it's like, all right, well, no, we're gonna do like you said, we're gonna go do Leviathan, or we're gonna go let's go get an Anarchy. Let's go do Scourge. You got Tarba? Let's go do Tarba. Like, it's true. So you hit the nail on the head on that one.
I'm with you, brothers. On fire.
Yeah, all I can say is I think everybody's waiting on pins and needles for Joe's State of Destiny that's supposed to come this coming season. I don't know if it's going to be the first week. They'll probably let the dust settle a bit, but in a few weeks when that thing settles, whoever our guest is, that's going to be a long episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a discussion and a half. I have a feeling I'm probably going to do like a talk over it and just be like, hey, here's an hour and a half talking video of me thinking through all this stuff. So it's going to be way too long. But until then, we do still have some changes that are coming to season 13. Kind of some maintenance stuff, but we'll see. First one, seasonal challenges. I'm going to give a brief overview for people who are listening, haven't read it yet, whatever. And then we'll talk. The idea is weekly bounties are going away.
Yes.
So weekly bounties involved a good chunk of experience. They also involve some bright dust, which we'll touch after this topic. And they also involve your main playlist, Strikes, Crucible, Gambit. You'd have to go to each vendor, pick them up. You can do them on every character. What they're trying to do, it seems like, is, they're switching over to seasonal challenges instead of weekly bounties. That's the main piece here. There's going to be 10 weeks worth in a season that probably has about 13. So there's going to be a 3-week buffer at the end where you're going to be able to knock most of it out. Each week, they're going to unlock some seasonal challenges. So like week 1, 2, and 3, it's 10, week 1 through 4, it's 10 each week that open up. Then week 5, 6, and 7, it's like 8, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5. Cool. So you have, the later you get into the season, they're going to give you less certain tasks to go for. Like, I'm sure when Grandmaster Nightfalls open up, that's going to be one of those that's probably like able to tackle at that point. Trials, I'll be curious where that falls, that type of stuff. The nice thing is, depending on, for one, it's account-based. So you don't have to go between multiple characters to try and be the most efficient. And also, as each week they unlock. So if I play week 1 and 2, then say this demo for Outriders comes out, and I just go diving deep into that one for like 2 weeks. And I come back like week 5. Well, everything else is unlocked that I haven't played yet. I can go back and try and accomplish and check all of those boxes. Now, they did say some of the challenge deal with seasonal content, but they did say about 60% of it is going to be not part of the season. So 40% will be specific, 60% will be basically able to be played by most people's, like even free-to-play season people probably be able to deal with those. Some will have more, specific difficult objectives like Grandmaster Nightfalls, winning rounds and trials, Primeval Envoys and Gambit, stuff like that. But they do say that the level of difficulty based in the challenge is going to reward you your XP. So this is going to be your way account-wide to earn XP throughout the season without feeling like you have to go pick up your weekly bounties because those are the big chunk of XP. Still going to have your dailies, still going to have your repeatables, but that is the general idea behind weekly or seasonal challenges. Thoughts? That's the best summary I could give. So
yeah, no, you gave a really good summary. Like you gave a really good one. I'm excited. For the piece that I think that is cool is going to be the piece they touched on the bright dust being a little bit more rewarding. I thought that was pretty cool because I think that's the only thing that I don't know if you mentioned on that summary was that that's also going to be rewarded as you go through there too. Because I saw a lot of people when I was talking about that get pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So that's a cool point. My only worry with this, because it does seem in theory pretty cool if they're going to be having us kind of go throughout the game and do things and have things actually be relevant where, me running through Shattered Throne doesn't just give me like a 1050 item that has no value and I get less experience than I do doing 2 repeatable bounties. And I'm like, why? I could do 100 Shattered Thrones and have less experience than somebody who did a weekly bounty.
Facts.
100%.
That's something that's
Yep.
been hurting me for a while. Because and I only say that because I remember back when all I did was Outbreak and Whispers all day, and they'd be like, "How are you still at season pass 30?" I'm like, "Do you even play the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play 24/7."
Like, so many more hours than you
I've got
know.
there before. It's like, "Yeah, I play 24/7," but I don't get any experience doing these things.
Right.
So that part I haven't really been an advocate for a reallocation of experience for a while.
Yeah.
So I am like excited for this in theory. The only thing I'm a little nervous about, like once again, is the execution. I hope it doesn't end up just feeling like bounties with a new outfit on, where we
Preach.
just dressed it up. Because one of the ones that I saw was defeat prime evils.
Yeah.
That's nothing different than what I picked up from the Drifter.
Right.
So
Preach.
then my only worry is that it's like, okay, this is still basically a bounty just on a different screen that I didn't pick up. So I'm not saying that I feel that way. That's my, I'd say, worry is that it ends up where I'm like, these are still bounties. So hopefully it ends up making me feel like the old activities are relevant. That's what I want it to do for me, where it's like the challenge is go beat Dueling Karu, and then I get a fat chunk of experience, and I'm like, that's great. And then I feel like I'm doing real in-game stuff by going and doing old activities and other activities just in the world.
Right.
Cognito's about to burst over here and squirm. What's up, bud?
Yeah, man. The CV is definitely on to something with where I was going with it, because I was like, when I read this, I'm like, am I being overly negative? And I'm trying to check myself. And I was just like, what's the purpose here? And I'm like, okay, we're getting rid of, let me think positive. What are they trying to accomplish here, right? So the first thing I said, okay, well, the weekly bounty has an expiration date, and they probably don't want to FOMO us with, you got to rush to get that out. Then the second thing, and I know, shout out to my man, WD Press guy, he's chomping at the bit, Talk Bright Dust. I know he's ready. He tweeted it. He was ready. You know what I'm saying? And I know the Bright Dust thing is something they want to start rewarding things, I believe, on like an account level thing. So for guys like me that just want to do my Warlock, I don't really care about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coming for me. Okay, fine. But to what CB said, it's like where I'm at, it's like, okay, how real different is this from bounties, right? It's not that different. And to me, I'm just going to cut to the chase. All this does not matter if the rewards are not in place to justify it.
Bingo.
I don't care if I did 6 primevals today, and I don't care. Like, that's cute. You give me experience. We've already done that. If you're going to put a list that's going to have FOMO and allow people to do these things, great. But what is the incentive? And whatever reason, the rewards team, I got to come for y'all. Y'all haven't been on the ball. It just, we love to do things. Shout out to Cloud Plays we had on, right?
Yeah.
He wants to be the dogs danglies. We want to look amazing. We want to feel amazing. We want to get something amazing. So all this is nice. What's the reward? Dust? Okay.
I was like, well, I can tell you it's not armor, because we got our annual vendor armor set with the different decals. We already got that.
Yeah. So look, you're once again right on the money. I could have said it any better.
It's just, and I'm trying to be nice. I really am. I like the things in theory. These sound cool in theory. And yeah, it's just, all I kept saying is, what am I getting? What am I getting? When I read this, I'm like, okay, what, if I do this, what am I getting? Is something cool? And I don't know how there's been a disconnect. Let's just be honest. Since D1, where the investment is not matching the reward. And strike specific loot. And the last point I'll say is this. The answers are right there. They created the answers.
The template exists. They got the template.
And I'm going to drop some inside baseball from what I've heard, right? Bungie, we know they like to operate within analytics, right? They're very analytical.
We'll get there, dear God.
We're going to get to the analytics in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But the other problem is that they have this notion where we can't do what we already did in the past. That's not good enough. We've got to evolve it.
They can't say that. They'd literally just put reissue slapped all over as well. So you can't say what we did in the past. We're going to give them what we gave them before.
True. They definitely ate their words with that. But it's just like, again, this is where people are frustrated. It's the disconnect between their analytics and their stubbornness with not doing or implementing things that the community already liked, that was already perfect in place, to say, no, we gotta sauce it up. We gotta do something fresh for you. We gotta, no, give me what I want. That's the problem.
The old Charles the Nine concept.
Yeah,
it's just that we like 3v3 Elam. Where's it at?
Yeah,
I get it. No, you're right on the money.
This is the kid that is too smart for his own good. You don't need to reinvent the wheel on everything. Some things were perfect the way they were. Strike-specific loot. You know what I'm saying? Giving people cool emblems, cool ornaments. Remember, somebody on Reset Era, it broke my heart, E.
Oh.
Somebody on Reset Era put up all the Iron Banner armors of D1.
Oh God, I don't even want to look at that. I wouldn't want to look at that.
I missed the lion helmet from the hunter. That was my favorite. That was my favorite Iron Banner piece. I still remember. That made me want to be a hunter too.
Facts. I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like, I missed those
I wanted
days.
to be a hunter, and that I never say. Those type of words don't come out of my mouth. I was like, I guess I gotta be a hunter, man.
Yeah.
All right, his buddy gets here too. I gotta be a hunter, man.
Brother, that's my last point. It's just like I said. I mean, that's, I think, the source of frustration for me and a lot of the community as we go on with the other points. And with this, again, in theory, sounds great. But if you're not rewarding people with unique things for these challenges, it's not going to have an impact to make people want to go crazy to do it.
I mean, I would say you nailed that. The other pieces too, they say these are based around your ritual playlist, Strikes, Crucible, Gambit, and we just got done talking about you ripped out a chunk of Strikes. Yeah. There's no new Crucible maps. They still haven't announced any that are coming. Gambit, why did you remove Gambit maps? There's only 6 in the first place. And then now we're down to 4. Why? Give the you took time to make they're literally all the same. It's like a triangle. Yeah. So it's like they just have their variety to them. It's like, why those ever had to go? Just like you're teleporting there in your mind. I don't really care how you explain it. Just like leave them in the game type stuff. But
and that's been the problem with the power grind is that going back and it's the exact same activities. And so you hit the nail on the head when you reduce those, even if. Like, it's cool that we can get a chunk of experience doing those strikes. It's like you mentioned, it's what we've been doing.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing is like I haven't touched weekly bounties in a while because if I do it, if I'm like, hey, it's like I'm right today, I'm going to log on Destiny. I'm going to work on a couple pinnacles. Let me go grab some bounties for those. I'll click on the row, but I was like, do I care? Generally, no. And I was like, and that's the sad part is it's taking the weekly bounties. It's putting them in the challenges. I can work on them all like the whole time. Theoretically, at this point, it seems like you could literally play Destiny in the last 3 weeks of a season, do all your check boxes if you want to just like smash out a season for 3 weeks and then duck out again.
Yeah.
That's
weird. That's what I'm nervous about. Yeah, so I guess we'll see because we could be off the mark.
Yeah.
But
hopefully, yeah.
Because maybe we got Sepix and we got a couple things. So maybe if it's done correctly, maybe it'll be dope. Yeah. But these like concerns we have are definitely like legitimate, and it's something that I'm gonna be keeping like a close eye on first couple weeks.
The other piece to this with the challenges, as you guys said, Bright Dust is going to be involved. We'll talk about where it's at, but Bright Dust is the other piece. They've said obviously weekly bounties are a chunk of Bright Dust for many people. There was a point, whether it's, I think it was Shadowkeep, somebody could probably tell me exactly. Somebody had done the math of how much you could earn at kind of the peak before they started changing the world of Bright Dust. Yeah. And it was like 40 some odd thousand, something like that. Weekly bounties were a thing and all of that other stuff. Yes, indeed. He did the crazy spreadsheet and stuff, but there was a lot that you could earn. They pulled some of that out of there. Now, what they're trying to cater to is, it seems like, the person who plays, whether it's casual or hardcore, on one character.
Yeah. Sounds like me.
No, it's like, honestly, like I mostly play on my Titan, so it's like some of these changes
that's what I'm saying, Lord.
Some of these changes for me, honestly, are not bad, because if I just like, hey, I'm going to do everything on my Titan, I miss nothing this way. Like, I'm literally mostly good, unless it's like you got to do it on your other characters, but you've got the seasonal challenges are going to be free seasonal activities, 6,000 Bright Dust. So that's your weekly activities moved into one place. You've got your seasonal extra is if you get, they say nearly all, don't know what the percentage is. If you do nearly all of the seasonal challenge checkboxes, you get a just chunk of 4,000 bright dust. So total seasonal challenges, 10 grand. Not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know the equality of weekly bounties if you did them on all 3 characters and everything, but I'm guessing it's less because somebody did that math. Season Pass Bright Dust had its adjustment, so that one's up to 10.5. So we're up to 20,500, still on 1 character. Weekly ritual challenges for all players. You get 120 Bright Dust. So these are the ones where if you look at the tower and you look at Zvalin, it says do 8 bounties and strikes.
8 bounties.
Yep. Now you get 120 Bright Dust per those. And I was like, okay, that's not bad. You're still going to be able to do your repeatables. That type of stuff will be in there. Your seasonal events may have a little boost.
Yeah.
If you do the weekly ritual vendors on all 3 characters, you can get 14,040. If you do it on 1 character, obviously divide that in third. So, bad math, but 3,700, something like that. So generally, if you're looking at just 1 character, 24,000 bright dust roughly just by playing 1 character, not having to spread. If you put the other 2 in there, you get about 6, whatever it is, decent chunk more. So bright dust is being shifted, and they say they're working on other places. The seasonal still have it. You've got your repeatables and other things of that nature. We don't sound like we're that affected by this one because we're like, hey, I live on 1 character. I don't have to go venture out for the others. Overall, just curious, you guys' thoughts on this one? Yay, nay, fine. What's up?
With me, I gotta be honest. I'm such a rare Eververse shopper, anyways. In terms of that doesn't even just mean silver. I mean, I spend so little time in the Eververse outside of like showing what's on there every reset for people to see. For the most part,
willpower. You're like, strong. You're strong individual.
Because I don't know why maybe I'm just old school, but sometimes I see that stuff and I'm like, you know what? It always happens to me too. I'll see something cool. Like, I'll take a prime example. I see, I'm like, oh, that red hive ship looks really cool
this week.
And then I'm like, I wonder why that wasn't in the Hashla Doom Strike. And
Pit of Heresy.
In the Pit of Heresy. And then, that same thing with the Sparrow. I'm like, that would have been a cool thing to grind in Hashla Doom. That was Crota's daughter. She didn't have any strike-specific loot. I always end up thinking those thoughts. And so I don't know why I don't get super jazzed up about the Eververse.
You're a man of principle. I respect that.
But in general, though, there needs to be a equal representation of somebody's time versus somebody opening their pocket. So if they're trying to balance that, I mean, I completely agree because I don't think the game should be more rewarding just from throwing money at the screen. And that I feel like way back, like not so much like as of recent, but there was a time like let's go way early back where back in like the throttling era where it felt like, you couldn't like kind of get the equivalent of what you could spend.
Right.
So trying to balance that, I'm perfectly fine with in theory. So if this does bring that more level, then great, because not everybody's got my opinion.
Right.
But in terms of, am I going to become a frequent bright dust shopper now? No, probably not. It's just me.
Yeah.
I like my tinfoil hat on the precious on my precious scars because they got that in the game now, so I'm probably never going to change my outfit anyways. So
no doubt.
Transmog, and you're just going to be the same guy for a while.
You already know.
You already know. Fresh, keep it fresh. I feel you. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for giving players opportunity to get stuff in game, with Bright Dust. So in theory, it sounds right now, I didn't do the math with old pre-Shadow Keep versus this. Is it, you educate me, is it less? Is it, are they shortchanging us?
They're still not at that level.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. I mean,
I was like, they're still not on the level of like crazy hardcore person who wants to play all 3 characters, all 3 bounties, do everything, do your seasonal activities. Somebody who maxed that stuff out, they're not to that level. Right. For the person who plays on 1 character, didn't do every single bounty, has a chance to do stuff all season between the seasonal challenges being all season long. Oh no, I didn't play for a week. I missed a weekly bounty. There's Bright Dust I missed. That won't happen. So again, who are they leaning this towards? But rewarding your hardcore players just to be on more, still not a bad thing. So I think they need to make sure not forget about that person. Be like, oh, some things can have FOMO. Some things don't need it, and that's okay for both.
I think one of the ways they're trying to bridge that, and I'll see what you think about this part, and maybe they just need to do it in more cases, but the 8 repeatables, the 8 bounties per week that grant a powerful that give bright dust. Those are for all, you can do that on all 3 characters.
Correct.
So I guess that's one aspect that I guess rewards the person who has multiple characters. So maybe it's just finding a balance on a couple of more of those.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. That's what it feels. To me, this just feels like balancing the 1 character guy versus the 3 character guy. Yeah. So if he has the 3, he's going to get a little bit more reward. But the 1 character guy doesn't have the phone, like he's missing out because he's. I get that. And look, I mean, that if that's the intention, fine. But CB, you nailed it. To me, the ultimate issue is, as much as we want them to make money and cosmetics and emotes, and we get it from a business standpoint, it doesn't feel good when you see that Hive looking ship in there that we know should have been in Petty Heresy, or we should have been in the Hash Ladoon Strike. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, back to the reward for all of this, right? All this bright dust stuff is again. I hated to read this twab and roll my eyes every time. Yeah. But I was just like, I wanted to see the sentence, and now we're going to make a concerted effort to, balance that discrepancy between what's in Eververse that you're going to use the bright dust on versus what you're going to earn in game and have that equal. You know what I'm saying? And that again, that's the thing.
No, I feel it.
No, and that's the one that it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you said it perfectly. Whether it's the Hash Ladoon Strike, I saw that ship, the Hive ship. I think it's this week. I don't know if it's this week or last week.
No, he had the same thought. I looked at it.
I look at that and I'm just reminded the same Sparrow that I have. I probably bought it for Bright Dust because I still sit on like way too much Bright Dust because I'm like, some point there's going to be something. I'm like never going to spend. I'm never sitting low. I'm always like, I inch up a little bit and I'll be like, I got my one thing for this like season. I buy like one thing. I don't just drop a lot. So I'm like, I don't spend that much. But yeah, it's like that balance needs to be there. As like Cognito said, put stuff in there. Like, when's the last time you could earn an emote? Callus is the one that I can think of.
Facts. And look how crazy people went to try to finish that and do.
And that same with the ornament. Ornament too with Echoes.
Yes, that threw me into Spire. I was like, yo, I don't even like Spire. I'm sorry, CB. But I was like, yo, I gotta play. Because I was like, not only do I gotta get this catalyst that's going away from Sleeper, I was like, everybody's sitting in the chair. I'm like, I want to sit in the chair. Like, I want to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Again, you're 100% right.
Look at the incentive. I don't know who's in charge of rewards. Like, what has happened that they are not making this connection anymore? And it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
I mean, and that's where you could, no, that's exactly what I was bringing up is like, that's why it's like, where was it? It was a hard thing to do. It was in a raid, but this thing you get like, dude, where did you get that?
Yep.
That's what they always want, like, the tower to be, is this, like, hey, I see this thing, and now it's like, I got it from Eververse, as opposed to go into the game and do it, whether it be wings on your back for Trials ornaments, the strike-specific loot of I have a giant Hive skull on my head, the Nightfall crowns that actually were kind of cool. I mean, there's many.
I forgot about those.
So many things that are like in-game earnable, and now it's more of a business, and that's why some people are wondering. It's like, hey, they got free from Activision. It's like, Bungie's been on their own for a while. These are decisions they're still choosing to do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and I saw even a lot of people, especially when I was doing like helps for Leviathan, it was a lot of times, we got to get a prestige in because it drops the white ornament for Acreus. And so you're exactly right. And I mean, now, like, obviously the majority of ornaments can be found in Eververse, but even just sprinkling in a couple to some of those activities made it really cool to like go back in and do certain things. And it's just like you said, E, because I remember first time I ran Spire, the first time too, on encounter 1 of Valcor, my best friend got the toast emote, and we'd never seen it. We'd done it right at launch. We'd never seen it. I said, "What is that?" I was like, "Bro," I was like, and I started doing 3 times a week, and it didn't drop for months. But it was incentive. It was incentive, and it was the what's that effect, like, and and then I gotta go get me that, like, So you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, because right now that what's that effect is gone mostly. It seems like from a lot of the stuff. Now it's like there's some cool things here and there, but half the time the answer is Eververse, and that's just kind of unfortunate. So
Yeah.
We beat the reward like strikes. Like we talked about half of that stuff with sunsetting everything else, but it's like it's a thing that like we're this long into the franchise. We've seen the highs. We've seen things done correctly, and they keep like walking into the exit door that says push or that says pull, and they keep trying to push the door. So it's like just come on. And speaking of changes that not everybody's happy about, the Sandbox also got some.
I did say that. I had to read over that a couple of times to make sure I was reading it right.
Yeah. So is this like bullet at a time or read it all? What do you guys think?
I will let you decide the best approach. We can maybe you can do a couple bullets. Maybe we get a couple thoughts.
There's a couple chunks that I probably can do.
Let's do chunks then. Let's do chunks.
And I'm going to be in the minority on one of these, so this will be fun. Because I know some of you guys are holding your little controllers out there. So
controller gang, controller gang, stand up.
Yeah,
my man, you can
hold on.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Anyways, now the one thing that is cool about this first sentence is in preparation for cross play.
Woo!
They said it again. They mentioned, they were looking towards like 2021. The fact that it's actually saying it now is surprising. Now they said coming later this year. It sounds like if I had to put my if I had to tinfoil, not something I do. I'm not the expert at it, but if I had to, I would probably say kind of like they did before. Work out the kinks. Oh, it's up. It's up.
He got the officials.
Let me hear it. No, take the mic. Talk your talk.
What we're looking at is you got crossplay. You got a lot of kinks that need to be worked out. You got Witch Queen, big season, Savathun stuff going on. You don't want all of that smashing together, despite things. I'm thinking summer season 15, launch crossplay with it. Got your 3 months, work out your bugs, your kinks. Hopefully that type of thing. It's ironed out by Witch Queen, so they can say with Witch Queen, crossplay is completely live. Season 15 is where it launches. That's my suspicion because they say later this year, but not like. I don't think it's Witch Queen because we still don't even know what that'll be. I think it's got to be before, and I'm guessing season 15.
Oh, you going before Witch Queen?
That's what I'm saying. Season 15, season 16 is Witch Queen. Season 15 is like Arrivals.
Okay,
so that's where I say it's at.
What you think, CB?
Gentlemen?
I feel like I almost got to take a step back before I can answer it because the thing is are we? There's two different things because a lot of people have been asking for crossplay. Like even me, I would be excited to be able to play on PC, play PS4 and Xbox. I think that'd be great. And be able to help a lot easier without having to rotate every day. In terms of platforms and buying the DLCs multiple times. But in terms of like crossplay, like kind of the fundamental piece that I'm still like nervous about that makes me nervous if that was to be the case is we still have a problem with cheating on PC, and I'm really nervous that if we're not asking if we're not giving them the feedback to make this an opt-in process at least at first until they get the cheating problem under control, they're gonna potentially, I would say, potentially pollute the console what's it called experience, at least PvP side, with the cheating without having an anti-cheat in place. Because right now, it's people are still really talking about let's make sure there's an anti-cheat on PC. So if we are gonna go crossplay and that soon, it doesn't seem like they have a grasp yet on that realm where I'd even feel comfortable with it even coming at that point, unless it's opt-in. So a lot of people just say we want crossplay, but I think when the way we say crossplay, we gotta be very careful about how we tell Bungie things, just to make sure it comes in the right way. But until they have that hammered down, it makes me a little nervous to just throw that out. And in a couple, I guess it would be this year. It'd be in 6 months. 6 months. Roughly. It would that would make me a little nervous for that part. So my thought is, maybe Witch Queen or even I would say maybe like the only part of me that makes me think it's not Witch Queen is that if it ends up crashing and burning, it'd be really hard for them to maintenance that while they also have a gigantic DLC, so they probably want to get the kinks out before. So E's thing really does make sense from like a technical standpoint, but it worries me that it makes sense. they have a lot they got to cover down on before they can do that, in my opinion, unless it's opt-in, and then then it doesn't matter. But if it's not, then then I'm a little nervous. In terms of lowering M&K or
Oh, we haven't even got there yet. Hold that.
Excuse me. Okay, we didn't get there, so I went too far. But that's my opinion on at least the part on crossplay. I'd say I think that we need to make sure that they're not rushing, because that makes me nervous. Because the last thing they need to do is I'd say upset more people.
Yeah, facts.
That's all.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not take it off.
No, valid point. But 10-4 was in effect. I'm feeling y'all. Look. I like the idea that first that it was mentioned, right? So that you know that this is the eventual goal. That's what they want to do. You know, the other year, what was it? Shadowkeep is when cross save, I believe, was introduced.
Yep.
You know, my gut still, I'm gonna lean towards. I'm gonna go a little past E in defense of. I'm still gonna think they're gonna include it with an expansion, because I think it feels more of a selling point when you know, because like when Shadowkeep came in, they're like, yo, now that we're doing this new content. Now you could play wherever you want to play. And then it kind of incentivizes the $30 to $40.
They rolled that like a few weeks before, right?
I can't remember. I would assume that I want to say that it went
I
live.
thought they did. And so that's why I was leaning, at least maybe I'm leaning in the middle of both of you two, between E and Lord.
The middle of season 15?
That's E. I think it might make sense, to be honest. I don't know if it makes, it's hard. I'm in the middle of both of y'all, I think, on this.
I'm trying to remember. So cross save. I mean, you guys.
I'm gonna look up the date right now while you're talking.
Cross save. Let me know when cross save actually was implemented. Was it with Shadowkeep? Was it before Shadowkeep?
I feel like it was like almost
before
like
Shadowkeep. That it
I feel
definitely
like it was like
validates your
2
argument.
weeks. I feel like it was like 2 weeks for you, like, to get your save transferred over, finish up your Steam stuff. So that was like there, and then I think people got to play a little bit on different platforms before the next expansion went live. I feel like it was just like a couple of weeks. It's like, it wasn't maybe the full season. That may be a bit of a stretch. So they like, hey, we're going to roll out cross-play middle of 15. I think like CB may have something too. You know, kind of in the lull of the season. Bam, cross-play's here.
I thought it was, how I remember, and again, I could be wrong. I thought it was like they gave us a prep period before the season. It
is. I mean, Lord, you're exactly right. So it was a little bit before in August, and then they said cross save won't be fully functional until Destiny 2 New Light hits October 1st. But Shadowkeep was October 10th, right?
I can't remember.
I think it was Shadowkeep October 10th.
They were September forever, so it'd be September.
No, because they delayed it to October. So I do remember that.
Right, because they were supposed to hit September. You're right. They got delayed.
Oh no, October 1st. Okay, so it became fully functional when Shadowkeep came out.
Shadowkeep, right?
I just want you to have the dates, but
now,
they brought a buffer period 2 weeks before.
There you go. So it's a prep period 2 weeks before, and then boom. My thing is, in my opinion, from a marketing standpoint, it always looks good as a selling point to say you're going to do this feature, and I wouldn't mind it to give them more time. I wouldn't be opposed if they did what you did, E. Like if they do it beforehand and give us time to mess around, I am definitely not opposed. Yeah. Back to CB's overall point, if this is not opt in,
if it flops, bro, it would just.
If this is not opt in, because I know we're about to get to the hot topic in a minute, but that gonna be a problem, because as CB said, you know. The reality is the kinks are not worked out over on your Master Race platform there, sir. And, you know, the last thing controller guys and console guys are going to want to deal with is that level of cheat. We've seen it upset a bunch of gaming communities. I've seen it upset the Call of Duty community at one point. Yeah. I've seen it upset the Sea of Thieves community at one point when it's shoehorned in. Now, I get the reason for these nerfs, and we're going to get into it, but like you see, there has to be an opt-in option. The pools are big enough that console can play with console and PC can play with Stadia.
Wow, harsh.
You guys get Stadia. You want to get you the Stadia.
You get the redheaded stepchild.
You're killing me.
I'm messing. I'm poking the bear. But all jokes aside, you know, I think they definitely, if they do that, then we're fine. But let's get into, that's my theory on it. But let's get it. I don't want to get into it.
We got lots to talk about.
Currently, several weapon archetypes have their recoil reduced. Have their recoil reduced around 40%, depending on archetype, when using mouse and keyboard. This results in an issue where players on mouse and keyboard are able to largely ignore the stability weapon stat, creating unintended discrepancies in weapon performance between controllers and mouse and keyboard. The following weapon archetypes have their mouse and keyboard recoil adjusted closer to controller. Reduce the difference from 40% to 20%. So some people are reading that wrong. It is a 50% change in recoil.
Right.
Just to be clear. Auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, submachine guns, hand cannons, and machine guns. Couple clarifying points. In some cases, pulse rifles, submachine guns, and machine guns will also introduce some buffs because they say this knock in recoil to mouse and keyboard hit it too hard. So all of these weapon types for both input methods are going to be seeing changes to go along with the mouse and keyboard change. So submachine guns, basically they're going to reduce the camera movement from firing by 24%. Pulse rifles with mouse and keyboard changes were kicking a little too much, so they're getting a 7% reduction in camera movement. Machine guns get a 9.5% reduction in camera movement. Now, they say we will pay close attention to how these changes play out when they go live and plan to revisit individual archetypes in future updates as needed. Outside of recoil, we'll get to that stuff in a second. I'm not going to say anything yet. You guys are up.
Let's go, CB.
Oh, man. Honestly, for me, I think that they should have done it in reverse. Just lower, just lower recoil on controller, I guess, and then leave, and to the point that they feel like it's balanced without removing the core experience that PvP players on the PC side have been experiencing. Because I don't think anybody on PC was asking for their recoil to be altered, and I don't think it was a problem. But I think it's a problem that they're foreseeing for crossplay.
Right.
And so in those situations, I feel like rather them go reverse and make something a little bit better on our side than to make it worse on PC side. At least for me is how I feel about that situation. I would have handled it in the reverse if it was me. Because now it's like, hey, why was, my gaming experience altered when there was no clear issue on PC? Like we've never heard anybody on PC be like, it's just too smooth. Give us more recoil.
It's just too smooth.
We've never heard that before. We've never heard that. And so my biggest thing is when we introduce things that haven't been asked for is always what kills me, because there's a lot of things being asked for, And so when you introduce something like that, it does make me a little nervous, just if it does end up being a change that really turns people off. Now, it could maybe not be that big of a deal, we don't know. We'll see. But, if it does end up being a big deal, then I would have probably rather that they alter maybe the experience for the better on the console side than worsening it, I'd say, on the PC side. That's my opinion. What you think? What you think, Lord Cognito? What you think?
Oh, all right. First, for the record, let me state.
Okay.
I am biased. I am compromised. I am a controller-loving player. So, E, I have to give that caveat to E before I say what I'm about to say.
Oh, I know it's coming. Go ahead.
This is how I feel. When you look at what they're trying to do in theory, yes, it makes sense. You have to somehow even the playing field, right? As a controller guy, I don't feel it's fair that PC guys get to ignore the stability stat completely. The stability stat it's not really an issue. You look at range, you can ignore that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that respect, yes, the move from a theoretical standpoint makes sense. Where I do sympathize with E and where I do sympathize with UCB is that you've got this core community that's been playing the game one way for this long.
And they've been putting up with a lot.
And they've been putting up with a lot.
We got to preface that too. They've been putting up with a lot.
So I gotta defend E in a sense that if you change my core game experience so radically, that's a problem. Like, I know I'm biased. I'm on the side that, but I gotta be fair to him. Like, it's not fair that his whole experience now. I mean, look at these guns. Auto, Scout. That's like the majority.
It's everyone. It's everyone.
That's everything that has a repetitive fire type.
It's everything that you use.
No one's out here yelling, yo, my linear fuses didn't get touched. No one's yelling that. No one's yelling that. So I feel the PC community right now. It's weird for me to say it, but I do feel it's like, yo, your entire core experience is getting changed. You know what I mean? I get for the greater good, but it just the timing of this again. It's tough.
That's a good point too. Cognito timing is important too.
It's
Like this is
tough.
just there's already other fire.
Mm.
Like they don't need to
Just
throw any
pouring
more.
gas on the fire.
Exactly.
So yeah, no more gas. So no, that's a good point.
For weeks, the community is like, "Yo, what you gonna do about PvP, son? What you gonna do about PvP?"
We're gonna make it worse.
This is the first. Like the timing, this may not have been the intent, but the timing's like, "Yo, we got you, fam.
Maybe
We're gonna
timing's
nerf
key.
all your weapons, and you're gonna be jumping and shaking all over the place.
Maybe
you gonna be
timing's key. That's a good point. I think I like what you said at the end. The timing. E,
It's
what
the
you think, bro?
timing.
What you think? E?
I feel for your pain on
E.
this one. How you
E.
hold it up? How you hold it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
he looks like he's. Okay, that's how you. That's how you know.
That's how you know it's bad.
Yeah, we used to start off with K. There we go. All right, take the floor, E.
Let's go.
So conceptually, I get what they're trying to do.
Okay.
For crossplay, they're trying to make it to where weapon random rolls matter for both platforms in as close of a fashion as they can. Now, there's an asterisk to this, which also leads into some of Cognito's favor. Controller has aim assist.
Aim assist like crazy. We got aim assist like crazy.
It's out there. That's why Arbalist, for example, is a controller
It's nuts.
heaven.
Oh, it's nuts. I'm getting my
Or
head pitched
the
on
opposite if you're on the opposite end of that.
So
The obelisk is
Yeah.
loose.
aim assist on controller is a thing.
Yeah.
If you raise
Yeah.
the stability of controller
Mhm.
with the aim assist that's there,
They'll be God body.
that leads to like, I may as well pick up a controller, even if I'm a potato.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
at least a somewhat skilled potato at that
I
point
agree.
because the aim assist and stability is better.
Well,
So I
Mhm.
get what they're doing. They're aiming for, not what they're doing. I get the conceptual idea of trying to make stats on all guns matter for every input method. If I never have to look at stability, it's there. Xur is literally selling Graviton Lance with 100 stability.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sleep on it if you don't have it, in case that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. But when you take, and again, this is where their delicate balance line of like, I don't know like the best answer, because if you give controllers with a lot of aim assist more stability up to where we are in controller, that's going to be to a point where like the Drewskis who are already good on controller, there are people who can mop the floor with me with controller already. So that's the point where I'm like, I can spin, I can like move my mouse and I can do a 180 probably faster than both of you guys can. Just one of the perks of what a mouse is able to do as opposed to thumbstick.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if there are people who are skilled enough with a controller already, and then you're going to take mouse and keyboard down, what does that do for the skill floor? Now, that being said, before I say anything else, there are some people who exploded on Twitter, so I want to pull a couple quotes.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh. Okay.
So, Gigs plays a decent amount, rather skilled player. Wait, mouse and keyboard is getting nerfed 20% extra recoil. It's more than that, actually. When controllers already have better and still have low skill floor, what in the actual dude? The other pieces, didn't they say in the Vidoc before Destiny 2 was released that recoil was designed so that you didn't have to keep picking up your mouse to adjust for recoil because it felt bad to have to do that?
They did say that.
And there's a quote. He's like, we may look in a few places where weapons need to be handled differently. We'll treat them slightly differently. For instance, there's no recoil on guns on PC because recoil on the controller feels good. I'm firing. Oh, I'm losing control of my gun a little bit. That feels great, especially with the magnetism and all the magic in the controller that makes you feel it. With a mouse and keyboard, you don't want the mouse moving without you moving it, so recoil doesn't feel good. So there's no recoil on PC. Obviously, like deep philosophies are changing and they're pulling out receipts at this point. And I get the game will change. But that's one of those things is you've had people, I swapped a PC, what was it, October, whenever it finally went live for D2. I haven't looked back. Mouse and keyboard since. Now, are they going to adjust aim assist later on for a controller?
That's the part that I was going to say, I wanted to add in there was the only way they could do it in reverse, they'd have to. There would be no other way. Like, and I completely agree with you. They'd have to lower it. So
like, is there a point? Now, you take some. Now, this is the other question to lead into what I'm doing next, or what we're talking about next. The issue with, like, the laser beam of Recluse is where a lot of this, I think, ties to. Because submachine guns on controller, people would watch my videos and be like, what are you doing? And that's a thing for PV. Like, Recluse was like, for raid races, stuff like that, people were using it. That was how long ago? And now they're like, well, that recoil on submachine guns that was an issue when Recluse was a big deal 2 years ago, they're getting to it. We're going to get to one of the like buffs that people have also been asking for years. And these are the things like they gather data, they gather data, they gather data, they gather data, they gather data. And then they're like, at some point they got to just like crap or get off the pot. Like,
yeah.
And then when it comes to like, okay, we're going to get to the rocket launcher buff, it's 30%. How long have we been asking for a change to rocket launchers?
Oh, wow.
Years.
They haven't been good since Sins of the Past and like that era.
Facts.
And that was year one.
And then we're getting a 30%. We're talking almost a third more damage. You're telling me over the past few years, hey, here's 10% more. Here's 10% more. Here's 10% more. So like same principle here is like you're going for 3 years and all of a sudden here's 50% more recoil. Now, if I'm saying that math wrong, but you're reducing the difference of recoil, 40% difference is what it feels like from mouse and keyboard to controller to 20%. You're going halfway between that mark. So I think I'm saying that correctly. But it was like they take this long on some things and then it's such a big change. If they're like, hey, there's a little bit more on mouse and keyboard, we feel like we're getting close. Not, bam, here's a kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
It's just like, and honestly, I can say all this stuff, and until I get it in my hands, maybe I'll just be shooting.
How it feels.
I was like, I don't know how it's going to feel, and I may be completely talking out of my butt saying, oh, this actually isn't so bad, it'll probably be fine. Right. But generally, it's more the idea for me is the time it takes on some things. When they saw Recluse on PC being a laser beam, controller and mouse and keyboard, noticed that was a difference. And that was like last Wish. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're actually getting something based on it. So it's like they are so very data driven, which we'll get to a little bit later. But sometimes it takes them so long. By the time they get there, they feel like it's got to be so drastic to be felt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, look, I'm with you. I just, in their defense, I want to see. Obviously, we got to see it. We got to feel it. We got to touch it. We got to experiment. And then before we jump off the handle. But, theoretically, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel good. If I've been playing, if the reverse happened and I've been playing on controller all this time and now they're doing this dramatic controller change, that is jarring. That is jarring this game. Because a lot of this, a lot of this is muscle memory, right? This is what you used to. You've been doing this so long that these are huge gameplay changes fundamentally. And look, again, timing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's never a good time to do things, but at the end of the day, it's like, you said it best, Eve. When the community feels you don't listen, and then not only do you not listen to what was asked, you then put in this new thing that is going to really infuriate people, and then not even say, hey, remember, I didn't forget you. See, at least at the end of the line, people are like, hey, PvP guys, we got something coming, in a month. This is their problem. They're not saying anything. And then it's just like, you're going to just piss people off. It's something with PR. It's something with the communication there. It's not terrible because they are transparent. They're better than other games. I'm not going to disrespect them. Yeah. But it's just, the community has been yelling for a minute. Someone needs to get in front of it and say, hey, here's your bullet item. This is why, even if you got bad news, this is why we're not going to address this right now.
Yeah, because
that makes sense. This, you know what I'm saying? This. We all resources are here. Blah blah blah. That helps calm the crowd down. The fact that they don't do that, and then they just like, yo, by the way, you're gonna get this nerf.
And so the crazy thing is, though, that's a good point. They always do all the, like, remember at the bottom of every tab, it's like the known issues that we know about.
Yes.
And those are usually like more PvE related, but it would be cool if they did announce some of the things that we're at least looking into on the PvP side as well. If they did one that was kind of PvP based, that'd be kind of cool. Right. I think the only thing that could have got them to think that this was the right timing to do that was I think they all got together and they were like, we can't introduce this to PC right before crossplay goes live. They're going to be infuriated that they didn't get a chance to get used to it. So how about here's an amazing idea. How about we tell them right now so they have 7 months to practice.
And
they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then they put it out and now everybody's mad. Right. It's like, so like the flip side, I can kind of see like maybe
I get it.
Like what was thinking, but like at the same time, it's like, no, like not now. Like somebody should have been like, you know what, maybe like let's fix a few other things and then we'll like ease them into that. And,
I'm okay. Listen, but no one likes bad news, right?
Yeah.
This is the type of person I am. You could tell me, yo, the worst news, as long as you tell me, then you give me time to process, which is what they're doing. That part of it, I don't mind. But the problem is when you do this, but you ignore all the other things people been yelling at.
Yeah.
Yelling, what's going on with PvP? Where's the renewed focus? Where's the reward? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. You don't address any of it. You don't even say, hey, we're going to look to talk about this in the future, Twab, or nothing. And you just say, hey, better days are ahead. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about what's going to come now. You guys, I can't wait. It's in the best state. That's not going to sit well. We got to do,
I hear you.
I don't know what's going on. We need Deej back. No, I'm I don't know what's
Somebody
going on.
said that in chat.
I don't know what's going on, but you cannot ignore things. That's my thing. You can't ignore. That's all.
Yeah, now I hear that. Makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we got that blurb pretty well, E.
Yeah, kind of killed that one.
Yeah, man.
Dead. Other than that, outside recoil adjustments, there will be some buffs. I touched on one already because it just kind of led to my point. And some nerfs because, those things have to come in pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Buffs. Rocket launchers have fallen behind other heavy weapons in most measures of effectiveness. We're pushing them into more of a burst damage role. Increase their damage, as I said, by 30%. Exotic rocket launchers have been adjusted individually and are affected by this change to different degrees. Wardcliffe coil, there's some ones that probably would be a little bananas, so I'm sure they'll tweak them where they see them.
How Eyes of Tomorrow going to be?
What?
Eyes of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
They'll probably tweak each exotic one individually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did say. Yeah.
Probably.
But this paired with your Charge with Light mods, going to be some crazy mods.
The Godslayer Warheads. Ooh wee! Extra damage on top.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I hear that it did take a while. But at least I guess with them, their thought process, probably they're bringing back the rocket launcher from the moon. What's it called again? It's what's it? They're bringing back the.
I know what
moon
you're talking about.
You know,
I was talking about. Yeah.
What?
The moon one.
Oh, dude, you know I'm
I know
I'm
exactly.
gonna look it up now,
not even
don't
just the
worry.
blue one. No, the red one from the moon. From the
Oh, I
moon.
know. Heretic?
I don't know.
Heretic.
Maybe. I
Right.
don't know. I haven't used it.
It's on the reissues page, and I'm
Yeah, it's
afraid
on the
reissue.
reissue one. So maybe they think that now's the time to they're getting that back in our hands.
somebody's like, is
so.
the pursuit weapon going to be a rocket launcher?
Oh, if they
Yeah, it's Heretic. Okay. Yep.
It's Heretic.
Heretic.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they think that's the time to bring it back. Or maybe they're just nervous about having it end up back like the cluster bomb era. I don't know, like what made it take so long, but
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Next one we've got is fusion rifles. Usage is very low, and they feel they're an unreliable choice in the Crucible compared to shotguns. Increased fusion rifle damage fall off start distance. In case that's not clear, when the damage starts to fall off at a specific range, they're pushing it farther based on the range stat. So with 0 range, you get 6% more time before it falls off. 16% with 100 range. So you're getting a little farther for those little bolts to have full effectiveness, basically. Reduced camera movement as well by 9.5%, same as machine guns. Finally, this was a weird one. Breach grenade launcher usage is very low outside of Mountaintop, which is mostly gone, or at least just base Crucible. We believe part of the reason is that the loop of hold the trigger to arm and then release to detonate is challenging to execute, particularly since projectiles can bounce off targets if the trigger is held. Breach grenade launchers projectiles will now detonate on impact with a character, even if holding the trigger. So the main change is if it hits another Guardian, it will detonate like a direct hit. It still sounds like it will bounce as intended for the other places.
That's a little interesting.
Yeah, it's a very odd one.
What you think about that, CB? I'm curious.
I mean, when Mountaintop got sunset, I mean, I'm not gonna fake. I don't think I've seen many people running around with any GLs. So I mean, maybe that's where they're thinking they're trying to make it where, hey, other things exist outside of Mountaintop. You can still use these types of weapons. It's kind of what I kind of hear from that, because I think once everybody set down the Mountaintop in PvP, at least, not PvE,
PvP,
Truth Tellers and some of those other things are still being used. But but in PvP, I think a lot of people, kind of forgot the weapon type existed, and this is probably what it is. Just bringing that.
Not for you. I think that they definitely. I'm a little nervous. I think of people's like I think this might be crazy or PvP. I don't know. Like
no, it's like honestly, you could picture. People instead of snipers, if you have a tight corridors map or something, just try and bank some around corners. And if you get a direct hit on somebody, there's a pretty
up.
It's gonna blow up already, and then you can push. So like if all right, everybody try and bank, everybody's like sitting on two sides of a weird door. You get a perfect bank shot, you get a hit, as opposed to being lucky for the explosion. Bam! All right, sweet, got it.
Yeah, it almost gave every single grenade launcher like an intrinsic like proximity.
Yeah,
Like the
I
second
was
it gets close, yeah.
I was like, is this
Pops up.
mountaintop properties on all the breach
Yeah,
launches?
so
Like, am I
I
going to
don't
be
know,
one
that might
hit all over the
that
place?
could end up being painful. They could end up having to pull that back. Like,
Yeah, I'm okay.
you never
Alright.
know.
Yeah, let's see.
And then as for nerfs, sniper rifles usage has dropped in Crucible. So read that line first. Sniper rifle usage has dropped. Even if we've observed that it's hard to challenge some, even with that, they've said if it's hard to challenge someone with a sniper rifle, even if you get the first shot on an enemy, they can't often respond when we win the fight. Increase ADS flinch to snipers when taking damage from other players. Now, it's weird to put those two sentences together because honestly, if I'm plucking somebody with an auto rifle and they still can headshot me, I'm just like scratching my head like, how is that even possible? Because in my head, like I should be moving you off the target.
Moving you off your spot.
Facts.
Facts.
But on the other side, they're like, you're dropped. And I'm like, okay, that's just a weird decision. But I like the idea behind it personally, just because if I pluck you with a scout rifle, high impact rounds or something have a reason at that point, you shouldn't be able to like bounce back to my head after I hit you twice like already. That's always felt bad to me, but I'm sure some people are going to be not happy about this.
You know, I think that I agree. Oh, whoops. I agree with that, E. But like at the same time, though, I just am nervous that I don't want to end up back in the vanilla D2 era where you got tapped once with anything and then next thing you know, my sniper was pointing at the sky. Because there was a time where recoil was a huge problem on sniper where, you know, it was almost unusable if you were getting shot at. So I hope that they don't go too crazy in either direction.
Well, and they don't say how much either.
That was my problem is that's why I'm sitting here like kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that until, you know, it might not be noticeable or it could be like, this is low key, like not good. You know,
Fallout or Cool Guy or one of those guys is going to be doing testing. Okay, here's a scout rifle. Here's a high impact scout rifle. Here's a scout rifle, and this is the amount of flinch in your animation. You got high impact reserves. You got like somebody's going to do that science testing for sure. I'll be curious if somebody figures out like the before and after because people are recording stuff right now to be like, all right, how's it feel now? How's it feel later?
I'm exactly with you. I just feel like in theory it needed to happen because I've had that. I've shot a sniper, you know, hard scoping, move them off the spot, and he's able to recover in mid-fight and still, without even dipping away and resetting. Like, this is in the same engagement. That shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm with CB, though. You don't want it to go all over the place where now snipers are useless, and then, you know, they can't, it's not even a viable thing. And, like, to E's point, they already said the usage is going down as it is. So
it's like an interesting way to put both of those sentences at once. Like, usage is going down, so we're going to nerf it. You know, that's basically what the sentence was.
Let's nerf that.
Was that a typo? I'm sorry, that didn't sound right.
Basically the sentence, but like I hear them, but like also like, you know, they gotta be careful with that one. For me, I'm on the fence. I gotta see it. I gotta see that one.
Yeah, me too.
I gotta see it.
Final piece. Swords are extremely dominant in PvP. Now, why do you guys think that is right now?
Atrax.
Lament.
That's the one. Lament.
Like, lament, and I say activities that promote using that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
you've got boss that doesn't actually stomp. You've got some things that, at this time, 65% of players are using swords for the majority of gameplay encounters in Destiny 2. While we are introducing a buff to rocket launchers to make them a bit more enticing, we feel that swords do too much damage compared to other options. Reduce sword damage by 15%. Cognito, you're grinning. You got to go.
Pour out a little liquor, man. It was a good run. Listen, Lament's still going to be good, but, I mean, let's be real. We knew this was coming.
Oh, I know.
We knew this. We was running roughshod on these guys. We was running roughshod on the boss. Now, look, I like swords. I love having fun with them. It's a great, powerful feeling. A lot of people are Sherpa. I make them get Lament. And when they get it, they're like, they're running headfirst into battle with the left trigger charge.
But okay, here's the other side of that coin. Why were swords good? Linear fusions suck.
Yeah, facts.
Rocket launchers have been in the dumpster fire for a while. Grenade launchers aren't bad. They're somewhat inconsistent, but you know they have some burst to them. But why are your heavies leaning one direction? Because you made one powerful. Right. Now they're bringing one up and knocking one down at the same time, as opposed to here's rocket launchers that have a charge with light mod that go with them. Dato's going to be like, you can get 60% out of a shot that hits like a truck.
Yeah, that's true.
But in defense, you throw that lucid blade on Lament
That is true.
with
It eats.
Keen.
It'll
Bro,
eat.
Okay,
I
well,
am
no, here would be a
bullying
thing.
bosses.
What if Lament was just brought down and the swords weren't touched?
That was what I was thinking.
That's
that was
what
the
I
next
thought.
thing I was
thought
going to
Lament
mention.
I agree. I thought
is
Lament.
why does the random swords gotta like
Yeah,
get
the
affected?
random
like,
swords
why,
shouldn't
why do they
get
get punished? Why
Guillotine
do they
already
get
got
punished?
hit. Your basic
Yeah.
like
I agree.
hook. What I can't even remember that one is.
Mm.
Those are like those aren't crazy
That's-
powerful.
Mhm.
They're decent, but they always feel okay.
Right.
That's a
I
great
agree.
point, E.
That's
I
a
mean,
good point.
they proved that they can do it to just one weapon when they just brought down Flying Guillotine. So I think they
Right.
should. They had the template. I don't think they needed to ruin every sword for Lament.
Yeah, every other sword shouldn't have got the wrath. I
Like
agree.
for,
Yeah,
for
so-
honor, like I got my little what was that? New Monarchy like sword. Got my
Yeah,
for honor arc sword over here. I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, it's made all the other purple swords useless.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
taking them
supposed to-
down more than I
Making them
think
more
needed.
than they needed.
Yeah.
You could knock
probably not a
Lament
blanket.
down. Lament is bananas bonkers. We know that was probably
Yeah.
going to happen.
I agree. Yeah.
But on the other side, I still think like the other, like your base swords, even Guillotine was like
Mhm.
powerful. They knocked that down a peg. Did it? Is now it's getting a double nerf?
Yeah, it's getting
Guillotine
double
is?
nerf because
it's
yeah,
true. Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point. You're right. You're right. I mean, it's a double nerf unnecessarily, but the reality is one weapon is really dominating that, and it's Lament. And
Yeah.
coupled with the fact that 65%, I'm not going to say it's skewed, but like you said, I mean, a lot of people are using it for A-tracks and
Another
certain,
activity. Yeah.
specific encounters. So I could see it, but
I would bet
Yeah.
the decent amount of your base that is playing, depending on where these numbers are pulled from,
mhm.
because this is late in the season, population's down, Trials is literally at its lowest. It's been
Yeah.
in almost forever. Trials was
Yeah.
at its one of its lowest for the weekends. So the people who are running right now, your CBs doing your carries, what are they going to do? They're going to be as efficient as possible. Right now, the one exotic's there. You know, you're busting through encounters, running through raids, crushing bosses. That's going to be your efficient way to do it. But
Yeah.
that is like your main choice. Not saying it's the only choice, but
Mhm.
That's a good
I would
point.
be
That's a
very
good point.
curious to see.
I think Lament's going to survive this, though.
I mean, Lament's still going to be
Lam-
powerful,
Lament
but now
probably
you
will.
literally like wonder, what does your base sword look like now?
Right. The legendary sword
Yeah,
is
they're
too,
useless in my opinion. That's
Yeah.
that's
It's
unfortunate.
going to be.
to be
It's
honest.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh.
damage testing will be interesting. They have a couple exotic changes. Any exotic that has like a specific bug or weapon or perk that would like go away when you switch weapons had the same thing that would go away when you pulled out your ghost. They're going to fix that for Ace of Spades, Terrabut, and Hawkmoon. It's good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Borealis and Hawkmoon now have a custom quick animation for switching damage type. All I can say is thank you. I can't tell you when I did use hard light, which was not much. How many times I would hold the reload and then apparently would think I did it again and pass the
Yep.
one I was
Yeah.
on. So like if I can just be like
Mhm.
quick, like double tap or switch or something, just
Yeah,
like think or
facts.
whatever it's got to be, cool.
Speaking
Dual-
of which, what you call it? For that Hawkmoon, the Harbinger,
It's really good. Both of those two.
Borealis.
Both
is
of those two.
lit. That's the
Are-
first time I used Borealis in a year. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. No, they both
Continue.
work really well in there. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because I want to run that mission again. Continue.
Duality, getting increased damage distance fall off,
Mhm.
both firing from the hip and ADS, reduce max buff stacks from 7 to 5, and the
Mhm.
stacks do more damage, so they're giving that a little more like
Mhm.
ease of functionality.
Yep.
Something with Sturm, and then also Merciless will do what it's supposed to do again. That gun, man, I swear it's been through a lot. It was a heavy at one point, doesn't have to use
Yeah.
broken multiple times.
Yeah, Merciless been through it.
And before we go, we plan on taking a quick tuning pass at Arbalist.
The RB.
With
RB.
controller Arbalist or console. I hear Arbalist is just
Terrorizing me, bro.
It is. Yeah, no, it is. But they're not
Terror.
addressing it immediately, though, is what we need
Yeah.
to say in that part, too. E, what does it say again? It says sometime in season.
sometime in season 13
sometime in
we'll
season
do a
13.
tuning pass. And it's like,
Yeah, sometime.
when? I will say, so last
Mhm.
piece, they say, well, I'll get to the other one. We know it will be difficult to understand the scale of buffs and nerfs with having these changes in your hands, not to mention some of the new perks you'll hunt as you start navigating content of Season Redacted. As always, we're excited to see the changes and we'll be eager to hear your feedback.
Right.
I will say, when they said, hey, changes are going to be coming back faster, Sandbox still seems to be about once a season, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be
Doesn't seem to be
increasing frequency,
Mm-hmm.
at least my understanding.
I would agree.
Do you guys, would you wish for a quicker changes? Do you feel like they kind of promised that, didn't follow through? Am I talking out of my butt here?
No, so far you're on the money. I mean, I'm hoping that as we continue to see this progress, maybe we start seeing that a little bit more. But the reasons that they said, certain things were going into DCV and certain things needed to happen for, a lot of new stuff to come or for quicker changes to get out. Outside of, I'd say, disabling certain things. I mean, they've proven they can do that quickly. They can disable something if they want to. If they want to disable something, they definitely can turn something off. They've proven that.
They got that down.
But outside of that, I would say, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So the final piece is Crimson Days. Each year we look forward to February as a time to celebrate the bonds of friendship throughout the community. Shout out to all the friends of the community. You guys are amazing. Guardians have come to know the celebration as Crimson Days. It was one of our first seasonal events in Destiny 1, tradition that we carried to Destiny 2. While there was great enjoyment of Crimson Days, we feel it's been missing the mark in terms of quality over the last few years. I wonder why. As such, we have made the decision to discontinue Crimson Days moving forward. While we'll miss the event, this move will allow us to focus for alternating seasonal events, ranging from quests to activities and more. We have quite a bit planned for Season of the Redact, and we hope we have... and our hope is that we've maintained or at least improved the quality you've come to expect from us. Crimson Doubles and Crimson Days are going in the DCV.
That last sentence was the part that got me, to be honest. The one thing that I actually enjoy for the most part, like that, I think consistently throughout all of Crimson Days, no matter if it's been D2 or D1 or it's been that Crimson Doubles playlist, and hearing that another Crucible mode that some people I know, like from the reaction that I saw, especially when we were going through the 12-1 stream, it's like we're losing something else. Yeah. Like in terms of Crucible. So I kind of feel for anybody else that like at least enjoys the doubles playlist. That was the biggest thing for me. I thought maybe they're going to say at the end, we'll still keep doubles and bring it around every once in a while. Right. But hearing that going to DCV was kind of a little unfortunate.
It's to me, this is sadly similar to like faction rallies where just like they just couldn't get it right or get the engagement how they want. I seen this, come in. Yeah. My main thing to your point though, I would like, they killing E. They are destroying E right now. They like, no, you gonna get out there, you gonna do this work. But,
please don't make it even, Prescott. I don't know if I got that much in me, but please be nice.
Yeah, they not.
If you guys in chat don't know what I'm talking about, people who are watching live who have accumulated Twitch points, they can cash them in to do push-ups and sit-ups just to kind of make me sweat on stream.
How many are we at?
I'm right now at 20 push-ups and 30 sit-ups. So the push-ups are...
If you gotta do them, I'll do them with you. I'll whatever number you get,
there
I'll do too.
Wow.
Whatever number.
Here we go. That is not incentive for you guys to raise the number, by the way. Do not make it worse.
I'll do
CB's a beast over sun.
I'll do it with you.
I'll dab all day. I'll dab.
I'll do it with you. Nah, I just don't want my boy to suffer alone. I'm gonna do it with him.
Oh my god!
Whatever you gotta do with.
They savages.
What are we up to? 40?
They savages, bro. They savages.
What's it? 30, 40?
Sorry, something was in my eye. I apologize.
I can't see. Yo.
I'll match them.
I'm about to change the cost of those to about 500,000 points.
You got to raise the price.
Shift.
I'm gonna make them real expensive. Okay, I'm gonna be over there sweating my ass off here in a little bit. You guys are doing it for CB. Anyways, Crimson Days. You were talking about the Crimson Doubles. We'll do that towards the end of the podcast because
I was just like, I mean, let's be real. It just wasn't popping. It wasn't really motivating people. I didn't remember the community getting super pumped.
We had the same. What was the bow for the last 2 or 3 seasons?
They did the vow the last two years. Yeah, they did the vow both of those two.
Right. Yep. And the rewards and stuff. So
no, I agree. No, 100% it makes sense. I did. My saddest part was the playlist for Crucible.
Yeah, I did like the playlist. I did like the concept where you drifted apart, back together. Yes, that joke was cool. That joke was cool.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So. I did like the playlist.
I'm just looking at my fate being decided over here. I worked out today, guys. Holy crap!
They
literally worked out.
Dakota said we could split them, and we can do that too if you want. I'll split them.
We'll see how much I got. I might have to pass a few extra off, but yeah, we'll see what we got.
Whatever. So I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna stick it out with my brother.
No doubt.
The one thing about Crimson Days is basically, I think, a telling sign because we've talked about it before, and it's bandwidth within the studio.
Yeah.
And I think this is just another sign of that. is
That makes sense.
how much. Again, we wonder. They say they have 25% of the people that came in, even if they didn't lose anyone. Of course, people come and go. If they were 600, maybe they're 800. There's the other game out there. Maybe they're 400 or 500. Maybe they're about the same. I still wonder, for one, how much of Bungie is working on Destiny. And then, of course, we see their capacity is truly at its max. Like, when something like Crimson Days can't get a fresh coat of paint, one new weapon, nothing. There's so much. They're like, we don't want to do it for the third year, just another copy paste. Even though they mostly just copy pasted the last, the Dawning, it's just a little bigger.
Yeah.
I know this wasn't like a renowned event. So it's like, this is just the first one on the chopping block. I'm just starting to be curious what else is going to fall onto the chopping block as well.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. And then to take it even a step further than just them losing, I think we can all touch on a little bit too, especially for myself in the IT world. And I know, Cog, you have something to say. E, I know you have something to say. Working from home and having everybody remote, even building I'm not building a small scale application right now, but it's by no means something that's going to be used by millions of people. Right. It's hard. It is. Get coordinating that effort. Even on a small scale team where my team's, 5, 6, it's almost 10 people at this point. But putting together a game, so to lose Activision and then to have this where they can't even see each other in the same office, it's just a perfect storm of it's tough. I just think that it's not even there's multiple factors. I think it's like you said, them losing a lot of people, and then they're not even in their studio. Yeah, I'd say part of it. I mean, it's a miracle. We've gotten a lot of the stuff we've gotten. To be honest, just from. And how do you feel about that? I mean, we've all been working from home.
It's just different collaboration, right? It's you can't collaborate the same. You have to adjust, and then I think for me it's just consolidation. They look at metrics, they're looking at consolidation of resources and say, hey, how much resources are we really going to put to this? Look at the engagement it's actually driving, which is probably not that much, and then it's probably not worth the effort. But we could put our resources towards other things. Hopefully rewards. But you know what I'm saying. But I think that's what it comes down to. It's just literally resource management. And in that case, again, I think the community is not going to cry a river on this. I think they're going to be okay
I agree
with this decision overall. You know what I'm saying? But, we'll
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so that's mostly it. We know there's bugs they're working on. You got your movies of the week and other stuff in there. It's pretty cool. So the big things at this point, the other big thing I would say that I sent to you guys as well, a couple fun little things. We had the new armor for Trials get teased.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of curious if you guys are pumped, going to be asking for carries, going to be paying out the money for it. What do you?
Well, not going.
I'm going to CB. CB got me.
But in terms of the look, no, because it's funny when I was streaming, they're like, "Oh, new armor!" So they posted right around the reset today. For anybody didn't check that out, we might want to maybe maybe I can link that so if anybody can see it. That maybe hasn't. But in terms of my thoughts on that, I think it looks pretty dope, at least from a first glance. I think my favorite pieces that I really did I loved the way the Warlock helmet looked, and I really liked the way the Titan chest piece looked.
Yeah,
at a first glance, I liked what I saw. How do you guys feel?
I think I'm with you. I think for me, I like that the look itself, the design itself is very Egyptian-y, more back to the roots.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm always about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always about the roots, stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it looked cool. I want to, obviously it's very dark, so I want to see more of it in the light. But initially, I was just happy. I was like,
let's see that shirt, Cog. Let me see. Let's see that.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta get that.
Let's go. There we go.
I gotta rep the Big O, man. That's my guy.
Let's go.
So yeah, man. So at the end of the day, like I said, I was just happy to see that. Okay, now what we need though is the commitment to PvP, and it's nice you brought the armor. That's cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But what are we doing? What are we doing for PvP? What are we doing for Trials? Let's get this PvP focus that the community is so angry about right now, taken care of.
And the final piece, I was just going to say is the other piece of discussion was Cosmo tweeted out literally today at 4:55 my time, apparently. So yeah, the team is aware of feedback around 3 peaking and currently discussing possible options. No promises, as we are still investigating what changes are viable, since it's a complicated issue that affects both emotes, swords, and any potential future third-person weapons. Now, there's Scorch Cannons, which is gone. There's swords. I mean, yeah, you can do stuff in your supers, but people are going to waste those on those. Do they have a plan for anything else in the Crucible? Like any other third-person weapon?
Well, they kind of hinted at it, though, right? Based on what he said, where he's like, in future plans. So I don't know what they might have planned, but I think that tweet was in direct response to the TWAB. After the TWAB launched, there was kind of like a ton of people are like the "we're listening" meme kind of came back. And it was we've been talking about Sword Peak, for like the last, since the birth of all of this, and they haven't acknowledged it. So I think this was a response to kind of what was being said yesterday.
I agree.
It's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
I agree.
Yeah. Outside that, what do you think, E?
I was like, I mean, I'm not a heavy Trials player, but it is the acknowledgement is a start.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's like people like three peeking. For the love of God, three peeking. They said something.
Yes.
Yep.
Why did it take for this long for them to say? It's like, we are aware you guys have feedback about this. We're looking into options, weighing to see how big of an issue. Say something faster.
Yeah.
I was like, because they still aren't promising anything. It's not like it'd be like, hey, we have this. We're testing things. We're seeing how systems react to certain things. Something's in the works. Right now, it feels like it's on a whiteboard as a bullet point, as something they're looking at. And it's probably been up there for months since Trials has been a thing. And three peaking has been talked about for as long as Trials came back. So it seems like one of those that, like, it's good to see. Why does this stuff have to wait as long? Again, people are like, rocket launchers. Okay, now here's 30%. They finally do it. So it's just, I guess sometimes...
Resources, brother.
What?
Resources, man.
No, I get that. But I was like, just acknowledge...
No, you're right. You're right.
Acknowledgement. That's all I'm going for is like...
Absolutely.
We hear you about three peaking. Like, we get you guys say that. We're going to do some research. We're going to see on our end. We're going to do some testing. There's a lot of interconnected systems. Say that type of... Sometimes they are so transparent. Like, sometimes they, like, word vomit more than you're like, I've never seen a dev tell me this much. And then other times they can't say systems are complicated. We're checking into things. We're going to see if this is a viable option. We've got a lot of systems that connect to this.
Right.
It's not forgotten. Like, that's one of those things that I feel like, and maybe that's one of those somebody up's like, don't say anything yet because there's too many. I don't know. But it's just like acknowledge is just the thing.
Yeah. Acknowledgement and setting proper expectation so that we are not going crazy. But like you said, that was a perfect example. They acknowledged it. This is why, when get to it, but it's a more complex issue than you guys think. People will understand that. People would generally understand it. But when you say nothing, that's what gets them in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And they just got to work on it. They still have to work on that.
Yeah, I think they think they need to be either already having like an implementation or fix ready or to be close before they say something, and we'll be perfectly fine with this, and this are on the table, and we're looking at it, and right now, we got to do some careful consideration, but just know we got it, we got it on our radar.
Facts.
So I agree. It's all the communication.
Yep, setting proper expectation.
Yeah,
gotta do it.
Yeah, we will be very curious to see. Well, that's most what the TWAB has. Do you guys have anything else for just the state of? I mean. So for you, we've talked about kind of what we want. What are you looking to see information on? And you can talk. I'll listen to it later. I'm going to go start work.
Oh, wait, start what work?
I'm going to go start my exercise work. I'll see how many I do. And then if I got to tag you in, we'll see.
Tell me how many I got to do after you just tell me what I got to do.
I'll do what I got. And then if my arms give out, because I already literally worked them today, I'll pass off a few. But sit-ups, I'm going to try and knock them all out. Push-ups, we'll find out. That being said, for you, the state of the game from Joe is coming. Whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. What do you want to see? Answers, ideas, story, armor 3.0, whatever. I mean, that's my little thing. But it's like, what are you looking forward to seeing in that? What would you like to see answers? And if there are things that they don't touch, do you think that'd be like, you got to talk about this, good, bad, or other? Like, where are you at with the state of the game? What would you like to see when it comes? Because by the time it comes back, we won't see you. I'm going to be back there.
I want to. Good luck. I want to.
Get him.
I want them one big thing. Oh, green screen coming down.
Hold on. We got to narrate this. Oh, we got.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I don't even know if I can
shop.
speak. No, wait. We got to watch this.
Do we got enough room for all this?
I'm not answering this. I got to see it. We got to see.
Here we go. Here we go. Now look, y'all. Last
Whatever
word,
you don't do. He's doing the sit-ups first.
Doing the sit-ups for. We got to get that.
Come on,
proper
E. You
form.
got this. You got this.
Work. Now, listen, my boy done worked out before. Like, this is extra dedication, y'all. Like, this man already worked out and pushed his body to the limit. But here at the last word, the cheetah is back in rare form. Look at this. Look at this.
Look at the form.
Look at the elbow hit the knee.
Look at the elbows and knees up. Tucked.
Facts.
I'm done.
Look at that. That's textbook.
Look at that.
Form. Ladies and gentlemen,
textbook form. Look at the hands on the forehead.
Exactly.
Head straight, neck up.
The repetition. And then no slacking. Fighting through the fatigue. That's what it is. It's dedication, brother.
True dedication right here. It's a true warrior right here.
This is a true one. This is a man of the people. Okay, this is what he brings, man. It's unbelievable. Look, this man, he's a machine.
Absolute machine.
There's not even a hitch. Look at this,
This is
CB.
insane.
Not
he
even
needs to be
hitch.
Nerf the man.
He didn't nerf Ebontis.
Nerf the man.
Nerf Ebontis.
Nerf him.
This is pretty.
Just nerf him.
He's OP. This man is OP. Look at this. He has not missed a beat.
Give him the sword.
He is the esoteric of sit-ups.
Oh my gosh, dude! Speed running, solo flawless sit-ups.
The first sign of any little hitch. Oh my God! This man, listen.
This is insane.
If you do not subscribe to the channel, if y'all not putting in
this
the
doesn't
cheetah
get y'all
emotes,
to follow the Last Word podcast, I don't know what will. Look at the dedication
all right, 50,
right here.
Okay. He did
50.
The
all right,
man,
so I'm gonna take his push-ups because he did his. Tell him, I'll take your push-ups. I don't know if you can hear me. And then he's doing the push-ups too.
Oh,
and then
he's ready.
Doing the push-ups.
He's ready. This
Look
man
at this.
is
elbows
he is
in, core tight, but not up. This man's a true warrior.
True warrior.
Holy cow.
Warrior.
This is insane.
This is insane.
I gotta get back into the chat. I gotta give some more. This man's doing too much. This is a man of the people.
This is a man of the people. He is embarrassing everyone right now. This is just pure form.
This is unreal. Holy. All right, I got the rest. Come sit down. Nah, he's not done. He's not done. He's not done.
He's not done. Hold on. This man is still. This is a one-man fire team. This is a solo raider.
Look at that man.
Solo dungeon. This is a solo dungeon clear.
This is insane, dude. This is that solo dungeon guy they put out. The solo push-up guy. He's
going for the triumph now. He's going for the triumph, y'all.
Oh my gosh, this is for the seal. Come on, man. This is for the push-uppers.
Conqueror.
Come on. A real conqueror. Oh man,
yo, he's amazing.
Man. This
is a machine. You got
a machine, man.
It's my brother,
Holy.
man. He's an absolute. He did it all. We were going to help. I actually was going to help this time. I was like, you know what?
No, I got him on the push. I told him I matched him on the push-ups. I promised. He's sweating too. Oh no!
Look at the face. Look at the face.
How many do I got to match? Because this man really just put on like the. He really did.
Yeah, he put on for the. He put
really
on for the
did.
people.
He really did. Like whatever he says, he's sweating too. He's sweating on his. Oh holy! How many do I need? Man, how many do I need? This man. How many was that?
That was
the
a
push-ups.
30 push-ups, 50 sit-ups.
All right, here we go.
You
green
gonna
screen
do them
coming
all?
down. I owe him 30.
You gonna do 50?
I owe him 30. Man is a man of the people. Absolute man of the people. I just gotta pull the green screen down, right?
You guys can't see him, but we can.
We can see him. We can see him. We can see him. We know it's official right now. He's moving things around.
Warrior, a true cheetah, not a leopard, but a cheetah. That man's fast, strong.
Wow.
Cunning,
Gay.
true conqueror.
Here we go.
Here we go.
This man's already a beast, though. This man looks like he works out.
He's a beast. Check out CB, y'all.
He's my boy. I don't just call people my brother. They're not my brother. I owe him.
He get down in the textbook.
Am I on the screen? I think so.
He's gonna make me look
You should
bad.
be on straight. Let me see. You should be on straight.
I hope that's good.
Yeah. You good. You Gucci. You Gucci.
Maybe I'll come from this way. Maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. No, you good.
Yeah, whatever way it goes, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way.
No, you good. You
No,
good.
facing your TV is probably good.
Yeah, here we go.
Facing TV.
I just gotta move my green screen. All right, here we go, y'all.
Here we go. Here we
Am
go.
I on the screen?
Oh!
I am.
Yo, this is a rare occasion.
Woo.
The cheetah has already set the bar. He has already showed us he's the esoteric
He's a beast,
of
though.
sit-ups,
He's hammering him out faster than I
now
will.
CB with the tremendous speed. I mean,
I know,
this
he's
is
a
just
monster
youth.
over there.
This is youth and acceleration. But at the end of the day, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, like, this is premium con. CB has matched Ebontis. He's going for it. He was inspired by an unbelievable performance.
All right, good.
Shout out to the young legend. The young legend.
All right.
You might want
I
to
couldn't leave
adjust,
hanging. There's no way I could sit here and watch them do them alone. There's no way. No way.
You're a better man than me.
No
You are
way.
a better
No
man
way
than me.
can I have them sitting there alone.
Wow.
No way,
Salute.
no way, no way.
Thank you guys
This
for
is-
the sub, bit, hype, all that fun stuff while I was getting killed out there. Thank you all very much. You guys are amazing.
I demanded them. I
No.
said they must subscribe to the channel. I need to see some cheaters in there. I need to see
Like I
emotes in
said,
there.
that's true dedication, man.
True
This-
dedication.
These two, like I said, there's something else. In a good way. Seriously.
I'm definitely tired.
Yes, he's this. Yes, he
Yeah,
put
I'm
on.
good.
That was classic. That was classic.
What? I'm tired?
The way you said it. The way you said, no, I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I'm tired. Yeah.
I'm good. There.
I'm done. Oh. What was the
Salute.
question again, Cog?
We were talking about your
answered.
wants for Joe Groth's State of Destiny 2021.
Oh, weird. Dude, you got a conqueror title over you. Man, you're a whole conqueror. I still can't get over it.
Facts. He got a seal.
That's
He got a triumph
crazy.
seal for that.
That was some real work you just put in. Yeah, I still didn't hear you guys ask it again one more time. I still didn't process it.
Yeah,
Season
sit-ups
I'm ready
is
now.
outstanding.
I'm
State
good.
of Destiny 2021. Joe Groth is gonna put out his like big giant deep dive for 2021. What do you want to see in it? Yeah, what do you want to see in it?
The big thing for me, I think, is the sunsetting piece again.
Mhm.
And the direct quote they gave us was they're removing stuff to bring stuff in that's going to put the old stuff to shame. I haven't quite seen it yet in the form of activities or weapons, yet at least. And I'm really like, one of the things that I really hope that's addressed is kind of the what's removed versus what's put in.
Right.
And what's hopefully coming in terms of rewarding player, I'd say, activity.
Yes.
So one thing I really want to be talked about is the state of the loot in the game. Activities as well, but I'm hoping that maybe just we'll see those activities pop up as we have the seasons continue.
Right.
But one thing that I really do want to hear talk about is like what's coming in terms of what we're going to be able to get our hands on and what's going to keep me playing outside of just, XP and Bright Dust. That's something that's really important for me.
Yes.
That's one of the big pieces. I mean, obviously I want them to address a lot of the things for the PvP side of things. Like I honestly would be perfectly fine with them neglecting our, the PvE half for a little while, even, and giving me a little bit more on the PvP side of information as well.
You think they ready
Just so-
for a PvP season?
I would be fine. I would legit take away everything for it and get things right. Like it's important. Both sides are so important. Like even back when D1 was struggling at a couple different points.
Oh yeah,
Trials
absolutely.
was carrying it
Yeah,
in the
Trials was carrying
in the directory
Yes,
back
absolutely.
in D1. So
Absolutely.
I really want them to give the PvP side some more love. Like that's at least me. On PvE, the big thing for me is what are you gonna put in the game to make me want to play it more?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that gets addressed. What about y'all?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, definitely. Honestly, I actually don't want PvP to be addressed to the thing because I was hoping PvP would be addressed before he does the big State of the Union, State of the Game thing. I'm hoping that maybe just more little tidbits here because I really don't want the community to have to wait as long for what the hell is going on.
That's
But,
a good point. That's a
you know
good
what I'm
point.
saying?
Yeah,
Listen,
that's a good point.
Yeah, if it happens, don't get me wrong. If it happens when it happens.
Yeah.
But as long as it happens, right? So that's the main thing. I'm a little different though. He knows where I'm gonna go with this, but it's just like,
Where are you going?
remember my issue: resources. And I'm gonna die on this horse with them. I have to look at what people. I'm a person. I judge you by your actions. I don't judge you by what you say. Right?
Yeah.
And what they've been telling me is, we're still going to post out content. We're still going to do this in a seasonal format. We're going to give you this. But in the same token, they're saying we're never going to give you an expansion the size of Forsaken ever again. Right?
Yeah,
so,
we did say that.
Yeah. So to me, again, them by themselves, I have to look at the body of work. Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, the seasons in between, and so on and so forth. Not that they're terrible. I'm not saying like, oh, this game's so terrible. I'm not going there. I'm just saying that to me, they keep showing me what they're capable of. And I think at the end of the day, they're not the 365, 24/7 game that we're used to just living in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now we do things, we get in, we get out, we do something else. So at the end of the day, I think that I wouldn't mind. We've partnered with Microsoft. I'm with an acquisition, bro.
So,
like
you're thinking maybe bring on a partner.
They need help.
I hear you.
They need help.
That's logical, to be honest. It's logical.
If we want Destiny to go back to the Destiny that people want to live in, right? That's what I'm trying to tell people now. Under its current status, if you're trying to just do Destiny, like God bless you, CB, you're super amazing. You're able to do all these different things. You're able to still engage your community with content. Same thing with Ebontis and things. But at the same time, there's people who they just can't. They're unable because the game is not how it used to be, right?
Yeah.
They want to live in it. They want to make content 24/7 and they're unable to.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell those people, in its current status, it's just not sustainable to be a content creator that way unless you're creative as you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
You got to play other games. You know what I'm saying? So for those guys got to play other games. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's
so for me, I'm cool. I understand what's going on. I can play other games. I can do other things. But for that guy, so that's the only reason why I want the acquisition. So they have the more support studios. They have the resources. They have the financial backing. And Microsoft wouldn't bother them. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft with their acquisition, like they are still going to, Destiny would still be multi-plat. It wouldn't go exclusive to, you know what I'm saying? Now the new IP, that's a different story. If that matter or whatever it is, that would be different. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I feel. I want the big thing. I want them to really have resources. Sense.
The best content came with, either Activision, Vicarious Visions, or,
Hawkmoon.
All of them. Yeah, no, that makes
Forsaken,
sense.
Opulence, Forsaken, a lot of the stuff back to back. It was rich.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So that's what I got. What you got, you?
Oh, me? See if I can think straight for a minute.
Oh, man.
No, I mean, for me, you guys both kind of touched on pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I want loot to matter more. I mean, Dado's even said, he's like, why am I going after all of these things for another scout rifle, another auto rifle, the perks and stuff like that. One of my big ones is armor. You literally see a game like Outriders having armor sets, set bonuses for different classes, like class specific, strike specific, set bonuses. There's a lot you can do to give some variety to the grinds.
Right.
And it feels like they dabbled one season with Drifter with set bonuses.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
right. That's true.
And then they still haven't
that was
gone
a trend. Remember, we thought that was going to be a trend.
I mean, I wished. I was like, it was a start. I was like, all right, keep it going. Not there either. And it's just been, I mean, as you said, like, this could be one of those building years. This could be whatever it is. Like, my eyes, unless they prove otherwise, my eyes are looking out to Witch Queen because the in-between seasons,
right,
depending on what happens this coming, like, Hunt was small, Beyond Light, pretty good.
Right.
Whatever comes in Season of the Reacted, we'll have to see. But it's like, they've said, like, do you expect an Opulence, a Sundial? I don't know. I was like, they've just got to prove it. I'm going to be here for the whole story. At this point, like Crow, Zivu Arath, Savathun, I want to see this all the way to the end, 3 years from now, whatever, how many years they do the story. I'm excited about the story. I just want to know what's going to, as you guys say, keep me compelled to keep playing the game. I'm at one of my lowest season ranks this season. I'm at like 114. I hit 100, done some activities, but I'm fairly low. Why do, seasonal challenges, if it's more Gambit, Strikes, and Crucible, and those playlists look exactly like they do right now, or maybe 2 more strikes and that's it, like, what else is going to keep me compelled? So that's kind of where I'm at. You guys have heard my Armor 3.0, very big question to wonder what that's going to be. But again, I still don't know. So
no, that's a good point too. I didn't even think about that Gambit Prime set. That was a step in the right direction. I think the thing that probably skewed it, and for Bungie, is they probably got the negative reaction just because it was Gambit.
Yeah.
And thought the whole idea was bad when it might have even just been people don't enjoy a certain activity, but the idea of the armor piece I think was a step in the right direction. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
and
and well,
that,
you also had the weird
disappeared.
thing like a grind this armor in here that works in this other thing doesn't even make you better. Like it was a very disjointed implementation of armor sets.
Yeah.
And if you could ask anybody, it's like, hey, was armor sets bad or was it because they were part of Drifter and Gambit? It's option B every time. People would love to see armor sets. So it's like if they ask the community, they could be like, hey, these are a thing. Maybe they don't know how to balance them, but there's some small tweaks you could give that could make you a little better. So that's all mine are. I know we got to wrap this thing up for Cognito, so I don't want to dwell on this one too long. So
Mr. Cook, that would be sick. We gotta get it in.
Yeah, I was like, time got away here, so we got to make sure he can get to what he needs to get to. But to let this thing wrap up right now, CB Gray, the floor is yours. Where can people find you? Where all over the places, it sounds like. What do you got going on? Anything to look forward to? Any ideas for your next song? Pretty much the floor is yours. Let them know where to find her, what you got doing.
Idea.
It's yours.
Well, YouTube, CB Gray, Twitch, CB Gray, are the big two for streaming. We stream every day for the most part, at least 6 days a week. Try to both platforms, YouTube first, Twitch after. In terms of new stuff, at least in terms of that song that you mentioned, probably Witch Queen again. Try to see if we can come up with something similar for that fall time period again. Outside of that, in terms of new stuff, for me, it's gonna be the same old. We're gonna keep helping out where we can, keep laughing, keep having fun, and just keep kind of running around in circles and just acting a fool. So that's the big thing for me. But instead of giving the floor to me, also, like, I want to give a big shout out to y'all again, too, man. It's been a lot of fun. It always is. I mean, I knew it was going to be, but, man, it's just, we always figure out a way to just make it. It just takes turns that I just wouldn't expect it to turn. But seriously, y'all, I appreciate all the love you be showing both of these two. They're both amazing. And they're really the ones that, I mean, they deserve a whole lot of praise. Like I said at the beginning, 134 episodes. I had to go back. I looked. I was like, my eyes are like, man, I really see that 134. That's a whole lot of times to do anything. Like, I mean, doing anything 134 times is like really, really impressive. And the amount of coordination it takes to reach out to people and, and to put all this together and to have this format and topics to talk about. And on top of the jobs they balance and the family they balance and the streams they balance too, because E does a lot of streams over here on Twitch and on YouTube. I've been seeing them. E's been on YouTube too. Oh yeah. Lord Cognito's holding it down on the YouTube front as well. They got crazy podcasts on the weekend that I always watch while I'm working. They got a lot going on. They still put it on every single week, and that's really impressive. And deserves a lot more praise than anything y'all are showing me. So with that being said, like definitely, just keep showing them love because they're amazing. And I appreciate all the love that y'all showed me today. I mean, it means a lot. Like, thank you for bringing me on. Always. It's always a pleasure. I like laughing too. I like laughing. we do a lot of laughing.
Gotta have fun, man. That's part of life.
As long as we're laughing, I'm good, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's always a fun, man. Always a pleasure having you on.
And it makes me realize how much I miss y'all too. We still gonna do this. We're gonna do it again too. We're gonna do another check-in.
If and whenever. Destiny Con happens in like 2022. Yeah, we will.
We'll be all on it, and maybe we can. I don't know. I don't want to jump in the gun, but we'll see what's what before Witch Queen, and maybe we can see what's what.
Dope too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, dude, you are always welcome back. You know that for sure.
That.
I appreciate it. But yeah, but thank you guys for the time. I mean, it flew by. I can't believe it's already 10.
Same thing. I was like, damn.
But I'll leave y'all with the final question too, though. What's the biggest thing y'all are got going on for the future? I'll say podcast and individually. I'm gonna flip the script on y'all. One final tidbit for both of y'all. The floor is yours.
One thing what I got going on. I mean, I can tell you what I have a podcast going on this Sunday.
Yes,
so
sir.
Yeah, for me, like I said again, salute to UCB. This was a tremendous episode. Had so much fun. For me, you already know Lord Cognito on Twitter. Our little podcast on Sunday. We're gonna have a guest, my man Gaz from Game On Daily. They're really cool out in London, and they've been really killing it as a content creator. And just like almost like a news aggregate as well as a digital foundry thing where they kind of breaking down the technical aspects of games. And man, we got cool more guests planned. I can't spoil all about what Jake spoil, but some big guests, for the rest of the year. And it's just really cool to see, people wanting to come on. Like that's the new thing. Like people are like, yo, when you gonna get me on? Like, I'm not used to that. I'm like, I'm used to begging people to like, yo, people are like, yo, you haven't had me on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Even E hasn't been back on in a while. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get E back on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, just salute to the community. And the main thing, you know, like you saw the couple, whatever, you know, lordsofgaming.net. You know, I really am super proud of the website. It's by the gamers. You know, these guys choose to write for us. And a very diverse community, and I just love it. It's just a passion project that's growing. We like to celebrate those guys, and it's just been cool to see people share the articles and stuff like that. So salute, thank you for that, and I'll leave the rest to E, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all do a great job too at that too. Just if I might add.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Salute.
For me, you guys kicked my butt, but you know, I'm a little tired. But you guys know where to find me. It's on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Ebontis, pretty much everywhere. I can be streaming on now YouTube and Twitch, playing other games. I will work on trying to get a stream schedule up on Wednesday for at least a couple days to commit. You guys know I do sometimes just kick the stream on other times, so make sure you guys do those follows and alerts. And honestly, always, to the scholar and the gentleman that is both my co-host and very lucky to call my friend, Cognito, sir, thank you very much for, as we said, 134.
134,
many more to go to see how long this thing goes.
Sure.
And sir, cbgray,
yes, sir.
I appreciate you gracing us with your tinfoil hat and just dude, your positivity. You've always got, you always exude like goodness, and I think that's one of those things that is so infectious about you. And honestly, like people in your community are fantastic. Chat has been awesome tonight, so we thank you for coming.
So much, seriously.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, and I know we'll all completely agree. We're like all in terms of all of our communities, absolutely nothing without y'all. So I mean, man, it's like all the credit to all of y'all for even like having us in the places that we are. And so I know I'm grateful. I know they are. We all appreciate you. So seriously, much love. Much love, man.
Much love, man.
Yeah, man.
Without the community, these guys, showing up and interacting and making us laugh and just doing fun stuff. And the interaction, you can't beat that. Like, it really means a lot to have all our communities really, support us in the way they do and show us the love that we do. We wouldn't be there with anything without them. So, yeah, absolutely, CB, I agree.
Sir.
Well, for this episode, guys, we are going to wrap it up so Cognito can run. This has been episode 134. We are going to go raid Bearded Luke. He's actually our guest next week. He is streaming right now. So send some love over to him. When you guys raid, go over there, explode his channel, send some love, likes, follows to him. He will be on the show next week. I think he's going to be an AM show if I remember correctly. But follow the Last Word Pod Twitter. You guys will get notifications of that. Yes. And for this episode today, we are going to wrap this thing up. So for episode 134 of January 29th, thank you all very much. It has been the last word.
Let's go. Let's go.